There you go.
There it is. Thank you very much. And I'm still waiting for my slow machine to open up my mail. It's ridiculous.
Snail mail.
You got good internet for the Zoom and poor email.
Here's your phone.
The email has to do with my computer mostly. It's just terribly slow, but it seems to do well to keep up with the recording. I don't know why.
Yeah. If when it does open, let me know. I can forward what I have. Since I have formally.
Absolutely. I got it. I'll make sure
good.
it's on the internet. On the
Alrighty.
website.
All right. Yeah, since I have formally retired, I don't have to carry my phone around anymore. And I used to get 100 emails a day, and I'm getting 2. So, which is a relief. Honestly, I can't. I just, at PT they have open pools for all these people to do it. There's 4 pools in that area, and you look around and everybody's got their phone up to their face looking at it. Especially the parents that are having their kids take lessons. They're staring at their iPhone. Yeah, you want to holler at them, you'll miss that, and you'll never get it again.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention. It's your children. I get the biggest kick out of when I get in this one that's almost swimming. My wife says it's my standard line. I go, "You swim like a fish," and then they got to show off. So if they're a little reluctant, they show off a little bit, which is nice, and it makes their day. I've got a bunch of miniature friends over there.
It almost took me 4 years to get used to carrying a cell phone. Now I can't not carry it. It drives me crazy if I don't have it. But for 4 years, my wife was yelling at me all the time. Why don't you have your phone with you? I can't call you. I can't get a hold of you.
Yeah. I'm with if I'm away from the house, my wife is with me. And we went to the store the other day, and I was sitting in the car waiting for her to pick up a few things. She came out and snapped at me. "Where's your phone?" I said, "On the couch." But, it's okay. It's safe. That wasn't a good answer. Wasn't a good answer. But we became an immediate world, didn't we? It's all got to happen right now.
Yep.
A lot more than a phone, now everything's changed.
Yeah. Do you remember when it was on the wall in the kitchen, and
Everyone had a beeper, didn't have a phone. That was a different world.
Yeah.
Without being a smart aleck, I used to think I was high tech. And then I suddenly realized that my nieces and nephews at 17 and 18 now know much more than I do about everything. And I started realizing, boy, I'm behind the time.
Yeah. Well, when I first got out of rehab 8 years ago, I was at my youngest daughter's house, and her youngest daughter was there, and I was trying to show her something on a phone, and I couldn't find the photograph. And she says, "Wait, big guy, you know what you need? You need such program, and then you can alphabetize them and put them in." She's 5 years old. 5 years old. And then she tells me, "Download this at home because my daddy doesn't want to overload the DSL when we're watching a basketball game or whatever." And I saw the other day, she's 13 years old, gorgeous little girl. She is setting the path for those other kids in school. Just, if it's got a number associated with it, she's got it, which is beautiful. My daddy had it. I had it. Her mother has it. When you can just figure anything out that's got a number, because the numbers don't change. It's not spelling, it's just numbers.
Hey, Eddie,
Yes, ma'am.
look what I got today.
Oh, wow. Wait. I gotta get back to you.
I missed it. What is that?
I like that.
Oh,
Yeah. We'll
That's
have
the
some
big gun.
fun. We'll have some fun.
Well,
Yeah.
first you got to go find some junk wood and play with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I got a garage full of wood. Yep.
It is so much fun. It adds terrifically to your character, your work.
Mine needs it.
But you know, a good friend of mine who did ornamental work, he was one of the world's finest ornamental turners. He gave me one piece of advice on it. Remember, it's a detail. If there's too much, it's gaudy.
Mm.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
absolutely right. I see these ornamental pieces going up in Facebook and places like that, and I think, well, you know, you really could have stopped a half an hour ago. You know, if you got to concentrate on to see the design, that's not fun. Designs in your heart. Ronald Todd's in. David J's in. Oh, look at Tim Hatch was sending the kids a recipe for chicken enchilada casserole.
ooh,
Are you sharing that?
just the chicken.
I just did something wrong on my screen.
Uh-oh.
I should have restarted this computer when I got on tonight.
We're seeing you.
Well, we'll get there. Henry likes my handle, Big Eye. Big Dog. It was supposed to say Big Guy and I corrected it.
Mhm. You
that's
change that
what-
every week, don't you?
Pardon?
So you change
Yeah.
that every week now, haven't you?
Gotta have fun.
That autocorrect's starting to give me, it gives me more headaches than anything.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah.
They could-
I blame my
if we could-
misspelling on it.
If we could name each other, that would be neat. Everybody could come up with a different. Everybody could come
That'd
up
be
with a different
dangerous.
name. Yeah, different name. I mean, you know, keep it nice, but I'm just saying, you could come up with a different name for each person each week.
Oh, I kind of did that a while back in the spring when Dane came over and spent a couple days with me. I made out a family tree. Yeah, you guys was all on it.
How many branches
Oh,
did I have?
A lot.
Just
A
one.
lot.
When I had a job where I used to have to wear a coat and tie, which I no longer own a coat and tie, I would use wear a cartoon type a tie all the time from the cartoon that was on Bullwinkle, and I had a Bullwinkle tie, I had Harley Davidson ties. You know, it was really
Rocky
mishmash.
and Bullwinkle.
Yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle. I couldn't get there. Yeah. My wife commented the other day, I have to go to my great grandson's birthday on Saturday, and I should wear full length pants. Really? But we're going in to see him, and his Christmas gift, his birthday present's in there.
Ooh, a nice laser job. Had to
Yeah.
figure out what your kerf was before you could get that to work, huh?
0.07.
You're right on top of that.
I didn't understand that part, and stuff I made before couldn't put together, you know, because there wasn't any tolerances, and you couldn't hammer them together. So, but
Once you
I
get it
got
right. It's oh yeah.
yeah, I got a box for them, and then I got a little leather tag that I lasered and
Mhm.
wrap it up, and I'm
Freaking
gonna love
leather.
giving it.
Leather is awesome. Leather is just so easy on a machine.
It is. I went to that Tandy, you know where that Tandy place is at, Billy? Near Elmwood.
Mhm.
And the guy gave me a whole pack of scraps. Just
Yep.
here, play with this. You'll come back.
I had
And
bought me a bag from Hobby Lobby. They sell a remnant bag for like $7. It's got a bunch of different leather in it.
yeah, I had fun playing with it. And that's all I'm doing is playing. First thing one of my buddies told me when he came by the other day, you should sell those. And I gave him one and said, here, you can have it. Open it.
I made some hats, some leather patches, and actually saddle stitched them onto the hats. And they turned out really nice.
I saw the LA hobby guy had a video on that. I need to, and well, now I'm understanding how this gizmo works because I was misled on what I had. It's okay, but I kept hearing from Ronnie and a bunch of other guys about how low to set it and all this. I don't have that module. I have the 46040 module, and it's not as great for etching, but it does etching and cutting better than the other model does. So, you know, I'm learning. I come in here and play around every day, try to do an hour and a half, and it makes life a little interesting. The boss is on my butt because I'm burning up a lot of plywood doing these boxes.
Oh, well.
It's about $1 a sheet if you get the quality stuff, you know.
The 3mm quality, yeah, you're right, about $1 a sheet.
You get the one that has the tape side on one side. You talk about nice because you don't have any scorched cut lines.
Whoa! Tell me more about that.
I don't know exactly where you can get it. I bought mine from my X tool company, and it was about $1 a sheet. It just has what looks to be masking tape on one whole side of it. Give me just a second and I'll show it to you. I got some epoxy I just mixed up. I want to use it all before it kicks off.
Yeah,
I'm working on
You're
pin. I got
working hard
600.
there.
I got 650 pins to do. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm working pretty hard,
nice
dude.
after that.
I got 50. My plan is 50 a week, and I did my 50 this week already, and we're going camping. And then next weekend I got a craft fair, so I'm gonna try to get ahead for next week. So I'll be good to go. Don't have to sweat it. It's taking me
That's a
about
life
12
improvement,
minutes a pin, because it's all flat turns. There's no curves. And I'm batching them out. I'm able to turn 2 at a time.
How are you doing 2 at a time?
It's only a 3-inch blank, so it actually fits. It'll actually fit on my lathe, so I'm not turning them exactly, but without having to unchuck anything is what I mean.
Done exactly type that.
The pins you're using are only a single tube?
Yes, a single tube. So
Okay.
it allows me to just
Gotcha.
to flatten them out and sand them all in one run, and then put them to the side, and I do 50, and then I've been using Parfex as my finish. So I put them to the side, and the next day I put my Parfex on it, and then I'll polish and assemble the next day.
I guess you're doing a Gatsby type pen, huh, Billy?
These are neural nut pins from PSI, but it's a newer version of them.
They're nice looking pens.
This is the ply that I've got, Eddie.
Okay.
3
Oh,
mil
that's right.
basswood, and it's got a. It's hard to see it, but it's got a tape. Got a tape on one side.
Now, is that basswood or basswood plywood?
It's plywood.
Okay.
It's 3 millimeter plywood, and it comes from the manufacturer of my X tool, and I had bought a whole case of it, whole stack of it. I don't know how many sheets it was in it, but I know when I buy stuff, I write on there what my cost is, and it was like $1 a sheet.
Yeah, I messed up and bought a pack of 20 basswood sheets, and they're just basswood. They're not laminated. They might make some nice art projects, but doesn't do well for a lot of things. Oh well, we got a little bit off tangent here. All right, just a little bit.
Starting to say where it was shipped from.
Yeah. I'm going to be away from the keyboard for a minute. I got an alarm going off someplace.
I see Matt's in tonight. Matt, you about ready for the your demo? Let's sneak in on him. See what he's doing. There he is. You got no sound. Can't hear you, Matt.
Are you speaking your mind again?
Yeah, that's a good one. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hear you now.
Okay. How is my audio?
Clear.
Okay,
It's a
good.
little off. Looks like you're talking.
Yeah, it is. That is weird. I don't. Let me see if I can adjust
10 by
that.
10.
Pay no
10 by
attention to
10.
the man on your screen.
Eddie, I know what that means. 10 by 10.
I feel like I'm watching Peacock. Every time I
Or
go,
Enter the
I
Dragon
gotta
or
back
something.
it up.
Yeah, enter the dragon.
Not all, is off with the video.
It's been that way with everybody.
It's so
Peacock
weird.
is?
Maybe you'll catch up later. Well, you don't need to see me to do the demo. I mean, you'll be watching the wood, and the delay is a millisecond or two, so it's not a big deal.
You're on now, Matt.
All right. Well, that's good. No, I'm not. I can see it.
Okay.
Nope.
No, yeah, you back off. It's strange.
It's that Chinese thing. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah.
I love that, man. It's like, and then when you see a comedian mimicking that, it's hysterical.
Yes, it is.
Oops. Sorry.
Yeah, we're doing finials tonight, guys. So that's what I'm going to show. So,
Ooh, good deal.
and I'll talk about things like how to do the onion and so on, and how to keep them from being, squatty. I did this finial demonstration for my club like a month or two ago, and I had some very interesting input and interesting questions even before I started. And one of them was, how do I keep my finials from being short and fat? And another guy said, yeah, I struggle with the onions. So we'll talk about that.
I was speaking a little while ago about a tip I got from one of the better turner was draw it out on a piece of graph paper before you get started.
Yeah,
if you want.
Yeah, that works for a lot of people. Cindy Drozda does that. Rebecca DeGroot draws everything out. So many of your very fine artists start off with graph paper. I'm more of a seat of the pants kind of guy, so that's more effort than I want to put into it. But
I like to lay one. I like to lay one on the back of the lathe, that I'm going to try to mimic and lay it so I can look at it, look right over and look at it.
I work good from pictures. So Cindy, and I will reference Cindy Drozda, but she has some really good, can you guys see that?
Yep.
So she has some really good, that's my paraphrase of one of her documents. She has some really good demo documentation, especially on finials on her website, which I think is cindydrozda.com. And this sort of thing is on the site, and we'll talk about that too when we get there. But
Doesn't she have the silhouettes on her site?
yeah, she does. And I've got in my
so.
little documentation for the demo tonight, I've got some examples. So you can, and I've already sent the PDF to Dave and to you, Eddie. So however it gets on the website, when it's there, you could, if you wanted to copy one of those ones or have it as a visual reference, then you could use that. So I've got like 2 pages of examples. So
Yeah, we spoke earlier before you came in, and Dave did get it today. I got it earlier this morning.
And I'll try to get it on the site by tomorrow.
Cool.
That'll work. Fastest website master we ever had. Oh wait, he's the only one we ever had.
I'm going to do my gallery. The only gallery I have right now is I made a gonk or a gnome.
Cute.
So, but I don't have one of those little videos that Rebecca did. Stop motion video of her gnomes walking around and stuff. Very entertaining. So I'll turn it over to the next person.
That reminds me, I was at Michael's yesterday, and in their Halloween fall stuff right up in the front, they've got some of the fur in more like oranges and greens and white and yellow, those kind of colors, for like $5. Where the normal stuff, normal colors, usually runs you about 10 for the same size.
I don't remember what I paid for the fur for the gnomes. None of my local stores have black fur. I had to order that online. And they sell it by the yard, which is like 3 feet, which is an awful lot of fur for making, you'd have to make 30 gnomes or something. And I bought like a half a yard of a couple different colors. So, and I could talk about, I mean, you want to make sure that when you cut your beard out, you cut it so that the hair flows down, unless unless you've got some sort of reason to have the hair flowing up, because it looks really weird if you do it wrong.
That's right.
He looks windswept
fall
or
apart
something
on you.
Yeah.
Part the hair.
Somebody made a beautiful one. Somebody made a beautiful one the other day. They posted it on Facebook, and they cut the beard across the bottom square. I'm like, oh man.
I like them
shaggy. Beard like that.
I like them shaggy, and I had somebody when I did the demo of this guy. I did like 6 demos in the last 10 days or something, but I did a demo for this at one of my clubs, one of my local clubs here, and one of my friends in the crowd there was twisting mustaches out of this guy. So he was doing, so you got a sort of a mustache, and I don't know if that shows up or not, but that's just me playing with it. But yeah, I like them shaggy at the bottom too. I'm with you, Billy.
Yep.
I don't think it looks right if their beard is too manscaped.
When I need to see what a tough beard looks like, I look for Billy Burt. Then we have it.
There you go. That's a great idea, Ward. Thrift store, ladies' coats.
Yes.
Probably a heck of a lot less expensive than buying it from Joann's or something.
Yeah.
Or Hobby Lobby.
The store where I've got a bunch of stuff in, just south of me here, there's one of the booths, one of the vendors that has stoles and the like, and she's selling those things for like $20, and they're mink, and they're the nice ones, but they're old, in line, so you got to cut the lining out and all that stuff. But that would make some phenomenal beards.
It would
too.
What was that, Brenda?
I said that would be a lot of beards too.
Absolutely. I looked at one particular. It was, golly, I was kind of figuring out I could probably make 30 or 40 gnomes out of that one stole, and for $20. And it was either mink or chinchilla. They're both of those are high dollar typically, but $20.
Wow.
Brenda, I think
left to buy them all.
Brenda, I think Gary's got something for tonight.
What Peter don't get on her books about
Do
that.
we want to start, Galler?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can.
All right, let's go to Doug Miller then.
Oh, Doug.
Okay. All right, I'm here.
There he is.
I got three
No.
things. A couple of them are small, and one's really more of a repair than a turning. Friend of mine gave me two bowls actually. He asked me to repair for him, and that's what it looked like when I got it. It's his wife had gotten these and set them outside. I'm backing out so you can see it. You know, it's nasty. It's that black. I'm pretty sure is some mold, a lot of exposure. But then they had in the pith area, you can see there crack all the way to the bottom. That's
Wow.
on both sides. I filled it with some UV resin, and I've only sanded the inside. You know, that's probably all the sanding I'm going to do. But just wanted to clean it up a little bit. And you know, I'll get the outside looking like the inside. See if I can get it where you can see the bottom. You see that crack going down that lighter area there. That's where I've sanded it. I've got some resin in there, sanded it, and I put some more resin on it because I just wasn't filling it like I thought it should. So anyway, that was that. And that's been a mess. I worked on that today, and that sanding is just gross. But anyway, I did do a little bit of turning. I've got these little dudes. These are coffee tampers. Hold up. There we go. That's a Niles coffee tamper, stainless steel. That sucker is heavy as it can be, with about a 3.5-inch handle. And then I did another one here, just a little shorter handle, a little plainer. Had a customer that had called and wanted a tamper, and so I had not done them before, so told her that, and she was happy with the price that I quoted her, and we got her going on that. So I took hers to her, and I've got these two others. I'll put them out for sale here before long. Then there's a challenge over the English group. This is hashtag week, and since it's October, it was cauldrons. So that was that's my submission for a cauldron. So
Great job.
anyway, that's about 3.5 inches wide and about 2.5 inches tall. It is hollowed out. There we go. You can see down in it. Still needs another coat of paint to kind of finish it out. Some wire hanger for the bail on that booger, and so that's what I'm sending in.
Looks store-bought to me.
That's it for me.
All right. Let's
Yeah.
go.
You know, those
Kenny's
tampers are
done.
made. Those tampers are made in your neighborhood, Doug.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. Paul Holmes is the machinist that creates that, and he's out of right north of St. Louis, and he still does
far.
it. Yeah. Great
They're
guy.
made
He
in
works
St.
for me at
Louis,
one
and they're
time.
sent out to Oregon now, and then shipped back here to me.
All
Okay,
right. Who else
Tom.
we have?
Tom Kenny.
Hello, can you hear me?
No, I can hear you. Where you-
Testing 1, 2.
Where you at? I don't see your
I
name.
got him.
There we go.
Ah, there he is now. You're up.
A while back, we got some palm, and I had never turned palm before, and if I never turn it again, that'll be just fine. It was a mess. And
Don't mean
let's
to laugh
switch
at you,
cameras.
bud.
Twice, first time and the last time.
There was
Yeah, don't mean to laugh at you.
put a black collar and a black foot on it because the bottom got so, as it dried, it got so warped it would tone. And then there's a bloodwood lid and a ebonized finial. And it turned out okay, but like I say, it was a swampy mess to turn. I don't look forward to ever turning palm again. And the second piece I have is
Looks
called.
beautiful.
It
Thank
is
you.
gorgeous.
Hey, Tom,
Thank
you
you.
got a pencil? You got a pencil?
Yeah.
Write down my address so you can send that to me.
Yeah. No, that one's a keeper.
Yeah, nice try.
That was turned actually 3 times. I turned it rough, let it dry, it warped really bad. I turned it a second time and I thought it was done moving and it wasn't. And hence the foot and the matching collar. The second piece is a piece of firewood.
Oh my.
That's nice.
Ooh, needs more.
That's pretty good there, bud.
What kind of wood is
My
that?
neighbor, I have no idea. My neighbor across the street had some wood in his fire rack that had been there for too long and he gave up on it and he piled it up at the curb and I took a piece and put it on the lathe and you'll see coming around there's a big defect up near the top and it turns out there's a nail in it. I found that out the hard way and
Ouch.
it's had a bark inclusion and I think it might be some kind of oak and I believe the finish was probably Odie's oil, but it's a real tight grain, no pores. It was a nice piece of wood. Would have made a nice piece of firewood had I not pulled it out.
Looks
I've
pretty
never
much
seen
like a
oak
wood
that
there.
color.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if the stuff was waterlogged or what, but it was not punky at all. It was all solid. But
Huh.
like I say, I call it firewood. That's all I
I'm
got.
Like
almost
redwood
tempted
or
to say
something?
it. I almost tempted to guess it's cedar. It looks a
No,
lot like
it's much more dense than cedar.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. Well, it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's
Nice work,
usually
Tom.
pretty up
Thank
and
you.
forward,
Yes,
man.
yes.
Thanks.
Another question for you, Tom. On your
Yeah.
palm, was that, did you stabilize it in any way?
Did not. A friend said what you do is get a big piece of plywood to make a faceplate and put your screws around the perimeter because the middle of it is just mush. And so I followed his advice and I had I don't know, probably 16 or 18 inch plywood disc attached to a faceplate and then ran screws around it. But the stuff coming out the flute was not chips, was not sawdust. It looked like a milkshake. It was this white, goopy stuff, and it was all over the place. It was a mess.
Right. You might try stabilize, get the blank dry and then stabilize it and then turn it. That might help you out.
Stabilizing would be a challenge. The second piece that I tried is still on a faceplate and has been for a year or more. I don't have a pot big enough to stabilize it in.
Yeah. I understand that. Sure.
I just did a little pen and black palm and went through a good bit of Parfix just to get it stiff enough.
Now, I've
You
done
just found
some pens out of
real-
black palm, and matter of fact, that was my first failure drilling a pen blank was black palm. I blew up a couple of them before I got one drilled.
Yeah, I turned it on end and let it with CA and let it cure. Or even started drilling. Eddie and company mentioned that to me, so I tried it. It turned out gorgeous. It just was a pain. It's just like a bunch of straws.
Yep.
Yep.
Well,
You know?
next time I will stabilize it. That's a real good idea.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Let's find Doug. Doug. iPad. Doug.
You
Doug,
find them?
well, I don't know. Doug, you there?
There's somebody.
Unless
I
there's
got
another.
Tom Kenny's picture up.
He's muted and his camera is off.
Yeah. I'm not seeing another
Hey,
Doug
Doug.
iPad.
Now, not my iPad. Don't go to, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
All
Doug
right, let's
K
go
iPad, I do
to
believe.
let's go to Carl Geary.
Here
Carl
I am.
and
You got me?
yeah.
I made, oh, okay, waiting to see it come up.
Wait, we're still on Tom Kenny.
Yeah.
Really? I can
Yeah.
see Carl.
There we
Okay,
are.
There he is.
Okay.
I'm seeing Doug. There we go.
There we
Okay,
are.
I made a beehive box for my next door neighbor. made out of Japanese maple that my other neighbor had taken down recently. And little engraving on it.
Oh, that's cool.
That's nice.
And
Oh,
Aw,
that
that's
is
pretty.
cute.
she raises bees, so I thought it would be appropriate.
She'll love it.
Yes.
She'll love
Ooh,
it. That's outstanding.
nice. Yes.
That's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's what I've been
That's
playing with.
gorgeous. Well done.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, very nice.
finish is just oiled linseed oil now. I didn't do the engraving areas as I just got the laser pecker working today, so I did engrave that this morning.
No beeswax finish, huh?
Nothing yet, no, just boiled linseed oil on the outside.
What kind of wood did you say that was?
Japanese maple.
Oh, yeah.
Shame they took the tree down because it was beautiful.
I'll bet so. Red leaves.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Oh, man. The dark red.
yep.
Yep. Beautiful.
Shame to see it gone. But I did salvage a few pieces of the trunk.
Good. We'll wait to see some big bowls out of that.
Not going to be too big,
Oh, okay.
maybe about 5 or 6 inch diameters.
There you go. All right.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's
Pretty
see what
piece.
Tim Hatch has.
Who's got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't have a whole lot. I've been under the weather, went under the little outpatient surgery yesterday, so have not been in the shop. I got in the shop a little bit, and then the wife said we got some honeydews, so I did, and I shouldn't have. So that's why I had outpatient surgery. But anyway, turned a little birdhouse. It doesn't have a finish on it. I was just trying to start my mass production of them. That one's got a little cedar roof on it. The wood's crepe myrtle. No finish on them yet. Just literally just playing around, and I was taking old Birdhouse Bob's advice on how to make them, and I like his little 1 inch, using the 1 inch Forstner bit for the outline for your tenon, and then the 3/4 inch, and then hauling it out. I did have one kind of come apart, but it's still recoverable. So, it's never a failure. That crepe myrtle actually turns out pretty nice.
Nice.
And that's just got a little bit of OB shine juice on it right now, just to, because the wood was green. I mean, just still wet, nasty green. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to turn. And then I got the honeydews and had to go out and make flower boxes that I shouldn't have. So that's all I got for this week.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Oh, I did have a question though. You all were mentioning, I'm sorry, I've been getting up trying to make the wife dinner and stuff. Cutting that faux fur, how do you keep it from shedding every dang where?
All right. Number one, when you're cutting the faux fur, you make sure the scissors are underneath the fur.
Okay.
You're only cutting the backing bits. Okay. Number two, don't use super glue. I made one of these guys one time, and the super glue doesn't work very well. And I walked into the house with fur glued to my fingers. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, the glue I use on it is the Tight Bond Quick and Thick. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it.
I use that for some of the stuff I make. Yeah.
Yeah, I use it on the snowmen too, and it's like one of my favorite glues now. So
okay.
Dries
thanks
clear.
for the info, Matt. I'll let the wife know because she's got a bunch of gnomes for the gourds and everything, and she bought a bunch of fur, and of course I'm making gnomes too. So
of course, yeah, I use just these basic cheap scissors to cut the fur with.
Okay.
Same scissors I use to cut my sandpaper with. I sharpen them before I cut the fur,
Works
though.
for me.
Yeah, I sharpen them before I cut the fur, though. because sandpaper dulls the scissors really quickly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got to go pull dinner out of the oven. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
All right,
Tim.
Tim.
I have to tell you,
All
I
right.
cut it with an X-Acto knife from the back. Worked great.
X-Acto knife from the back. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to Jim Selby.
All right, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you.
I did my first demo last night, and this is what I turned at the club. And
Nice.
of course, it's not finished, and I didn't take it all the way down. It's going to look like this when I get through, because this is the one I turned as a practice. And so
Same kind of wood?
yeah,
Both of them?
this one's got morning wood. What is it? Morning wood lube on it. So it's a local product.
I like that shape.
But yeah, the demo thing is a little bit different. I couldn't think of enough things to say, or at least that's what they told me later.
So when are you going to do a demo for us?
I don't have the lighting in my shop. There I had lighting because I was at the local woodcraft, is where we have our meetings. I don't have the lighting in the shop. I'm working on that.
Okay.
Articulated arms are your friend.
Yeah, but it's underneath the garage door.
Gotcha.
So that lies a problem.
Yeah, I found that doing demos really helps. I mean, it's made me a better turner, and it really helps focus your mind on what you're doing. You've got to, it's one thing to turn yourself, just yourself in your shop, but it's another thing entirely to convey what you're doing to other people. So
talk your way through it.
Yeah. One of the things that's wrong is I had Ed Maliski, who is like a wood turner from forever and an artist of all kinds, sitting right in front of me. And, so
a pressure.
You weren't a little nervous, were you?
Just a touch. Yeah. It's hard to do.
Looks good, Tim. Jim.
Thanks.
Looks good.
Very nice, and welcome to the demoing crowd.
Now I got to figure out something else to do because I want to do it again.
I've learned a lot from my wife. She's my critic, and I'll tell you, when she criticizes things, and then you have to drive home like 3 or 4 hours, and you hear about it the whole way, you never do that again. Never. Okay.
Oh goodness. Let's see what Howard King's got.
Oh,
there he is.
Oh my!
A friend of mine has a shop. He built a sawmill, his own personal sawmill, band mill, and he cut up a big box elder tree. I was over his shop and rummaging through his wood pile that he was going to throw out or burn or whatever, and I found a big old piece of that box elder, and I asked him if I could have it, and he said, "Yep." And so I think this part was where 2 limbs coming out. There's a crotch piece right here. I think. Can y'all see that?
Gorgeous.
And it's got some beautiful figure right here on the side.
Turn that over.
Oh my!
Twist it now.
Do what?
Twist it in a circle now.
You got dragons there, Brenda.
Turn it upside down. Put the top on the bottom. There you go. There you go. Now turn it around.
The rhinoceros
That
goose.
eyeball looks like a octopus, maybe. Yeah. And there's the legs out the bottom. Yeah, that is gorgeous.
All right.
That is gorgeous.
Box elder.
And one thing about box elder is that sunlight and light will fade the red out. So I sprayed this down several coats of a UV protective spray enamel, and that's the only way you can do it. And so
Nice
far,
save.
so far it's holding up. I hope that works. So,
That's great.
That
That's
is
great.
gorgeous.
Nice work. Yep.
That is gorgeous. Thanks, Howard.
thank you.
Let's go to Scott Hampton.
Hello, hello. Can you find
There
me?
he is.
There you
There
are.
he is.
All right.
It's not hard to
I
find.
want to pass an idea on to Carl. You need to add these to your boxes.
Oh, yes.
I got a bag of 200 bees of different sizes on Amazon for $10. Nickel each. Not too bad.
Cute.
And somebody mentioned gnomes. I've been busy making gnomes.
Yeah, well, I love that hat.
Obviously, you don't know any better.
Let's talk about how to cut the fur. My secret is one of these babies on the back.
Ah, yeah. Somebody else mentioned that too.
A lot easier than scissors, I'll tell you. I tried it with the scissors and it's just a big mess. Just lightly slice it on the back with one of these and it comes right up perfect. No problem, no mess, no fur flying anywhere. It doesn't shed or anything. Oh, and I also want to mention that if you guys don't need to get a shot in your eye, don't do it. I had one today because I have some bleeding blood vessels in the back of my eye that's causing a blind spot. And so my eyes are all dilated right now, and this one eye is just killing me. So.
You're not turning today, right?
No, probably not till this
Good.
weekend. So.
Right.
All right.
Well, we hope you start feeling better. You're back to the lathe. Yes.
That's it for me.
Thank you, Scott.
Right.
Yep.
You feel better, Scott.
I think
Jim
Jim
Duxbury.
Duxbury's.
Yeah.
Ready for me?
Yeah, you're
Oh,
back.
here I am. First, I have to say, sorry, Scott. I saw that done once to my father-in-law, and I don't know how a doctor learns to give you a shot in the eye, but that would be really interesting. I've been making bowls. This is an oval bowl.
Ooh, nice.
This
Nice.
is maple.
How did you turn an oval bowl?
You use a skew with one side cut off. No, I'm kidding.
That's funny. That's funny.
Never mind.
Oh,
This
you're
is
good.
cut in half, and the center taken out of it.
Okay.
I don't remember why I cut it in half. There may have been a reason. May have had a crack in the middle or something, so I cut it in half. And
Okay.
my wife's getting really good at this, and she's signed it. She does the texturing on the outside, and that's 3 coats of milk paint, and then lightly sanded. I think it's kind of an orange and a gray and a red on top or something. Anyway,
Nice.
she's getting
Very
good at
nice.
this stuff.
I remember after you said it was cut in half. I remember you showing some before like that now.
Yeah, I do it, especially if sometimes there's a big crack in the piece when you dry it. And,
Yeah.
and the next one, this one's kind of hard to show.
Oh.
This is a serpentine cut on the lathe. This is 3 cuts. I think it's 13/64. This is about a 1/2 inch thick. So it's cut a 1/4 inch from one side and then a 1/4 inch from the other side. Can I show a video?
Wow.
Can I
Sure.
show a video?
Sure, please do.
You think I can do this now? Share sound. This is my first video, so hang on here. Can you see it?
Now we do.
First off, I've been asked every time I show one of these bowls, I've been asked, could you do a demo and how do you do this and how do you do that? So I made this and we'll see what happens here. You're now in Jim's boardroom and we're working on a 12-inch maple bowl. these bowls are pretty plain. So it's kind of nice to put like a serpentine cut into them. This is a 5-lobe cam, 20 inches in diameter, has a 1-inch deflection on it. And what happens is, the sycamore bowl was plain too. And then I put cuts on the inside, and at 36 degrees you move it over and put cuts on the outside, and that way you can see through it, and it adds real interest. I also have a 4-lobe cam. The 4-lobe cam has an 1.5 inch deflection, so this gives you a higher peak in here, and that makes the cuts cross more perpendicular. And I found after doing this, the cuts cross perpendicular, but if you open them up and lay them out, it makes it more open area and adds more interest to the bowl. This bowl has been pre-turned, and it's 4.5 inches deep inside. I put 3 cuts in here, and there's 3 cuts on the inside. So if you zoom in on this, we can see that there's actually, you can see through it on the 2 cuts I've already made. I started 1 cut here with the cutter. This is a 13/64 cutter on a Dremel with a flexible shaft. This head moves it around this center to get a 90-degree on here. This whole thing goes in and out, as you'll see. The nice part of this head is it's floating and it's gravity. So I can have an OG bowl, I can have a convex or concave surface. It'll follow anything I put underneath here. Normally I wear a face shield. I can't talk through a face shield and make a good video. And I often have earplugs, but it doesn't make that much noise. I've already pre-cut this. I cut about a heavy 16th. This bowl is a 1/2 inch thick. So the inside, I've cut these inside grooves. I've made those about 1/4 inch deep. So when I cut this outside groove 1/4 inch where they cross, you can see through it, hopefully. And I also have a foot switch. Foot switch is wonderful. You plug it in when you need it, and you unplug it when you're done with it. You do not leave that plugged in, because anytime you touch that, that thing can come on. So as soon as you're done using it, you unplug it. I'll unhook this, and I bring this down. You can see it fits into there, into the previous cut. And now when I touch many passes because it's cutting by gravity. This doesn't weigh very much. And there's a reason for that, because if I start cutting too much, this whole thing's made out of wood. It's not steel, and it's not a known factor. But anyway, I'll do another couple cuts, and pretty soon those will start to open up, and I'll have cuts inside here. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Just no end to the fun. Thanks.
Mhm.
All right, Jim, what is the bit on the end of the cutter, and how are you keeping the tension, keeping it on the little template on the that's on the headstock?
The cutter is a 2-blade straight bladed. I tried this with spiral, and the spiral down cut I thought would work great, but a 2-blade cutter.
Is it a router bit, like a straight router bit?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay.
And the on the bottom here, if I can get rid of this, on the bottom you can see these. There's some springs under here.
Aha! I can't see the springs. Okay, cool. All right, I wondered how that was how that was working. Neat.
I did too.
Maybe
That's
if I
a great
show-
jig.
Maybe I will show this toward the end here. You can see it working. See the springs?
Yeah.
They're off my son's old weight set. The can is set out on a bandsaw and polished. The can's got to be perfect. If there's a lump in one of those things, you get a lump in every one of the things. So it's got to be perfect. But anyway, seen enough.
Thank you, Jim.
Very nice.
That is a very cool jig.
Hey, Jim.
Yep.
That's one of the nicest things I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's as nice as sliced bread.
Okay.
Say, Jim.
It's a very nice jig, and I love the effect. It's
How do you control the depth of that cut?
Love the engineering.
The nose of that that arm is rounded, so the depth is it's just riding on the nose of that arm with sticking out.
Okay.
So I have 2 band clamps, and I adjust and push the cutter out a little more each time, but it just rides on the nose of that, so that I could get any shape I wanted. If that was an OG bowl or it had a hump in the middle, I would go right over it and do whatever you want.
Thanks. Very cool jig.
Thank
And
you.
a wonderful effect.
Yeah,
You're
it
a
looks like
genius.
the pieces look great.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have a whole bunch of things you've never seen. Anyway.
Yes.
I
I
have no
was
doubt.
thinking myself, I wish you lived closer to me. I'd be over.
exactly.
Yes. Where are you from?
North Carolina.
North
Brigham,
Carolina.
North Carolina.
That's quite a
Raleigh.
drive. That'd be
That's
quite a
not that
drive.
far for you, Brenda.
That's quite a drive.
Well, hey, if it takes less than a day, I mean, it's worth the ride, right? I don't know.
Well, anytime. The problem with doing this thing is you can't just use any lathe. I mean, I can't demo it on somebody else's lathe. I filed for over half a day on this lathe to get it straight and even and precision enough to take that carriage. And you just can't do it on somebody else's lathe. It's got to be done here. So glad I could do it. Every time I show one of these bowls, people ask about it, and then I send a picture, and that doesn't really do a job. Glad you liked it.
Yes, we did.
No, it was very nice.
Well,
Thank
we
you
got
for
in,
sharing.
Absolutely.
You know, before
Always, Jim. Thanks a lot.
Excellent engineering.
now before we go to the next gallery item, I need to make an announcement. In 2 weeks, we're going to do tips and tricks again. Now, Jim stole the show last time, really. I mean, he way overdid himself. And y'all loved it, and we all loved it. I mean, I have my page of notes here. We're going to do that again in 2 weeks. And it is essentially to the program is to let you show us what you have for a tip or a trick to make your wood turning easier, simpler, safer, or whatever. And we'd like to get those. So remember, 2 weeks from today, we're going to have a tips and tricks. Now, the second part is Bob Moffat in the house yet? No, Bob's not in the house yet. Got to wait for Bob to get here, but I don't think I'll wait. We haven't done a real challenge, right? I mean, challenges are sometimes taking good and sometimes taking bad, and you got to be careful about the size of the equipment you can do it on and the experience of the attorneys you do it with. And I'm considering all that this week because I'm looking at pictures like what Tim Hatch showed. Now, do you catch where I'm going now? Tim Hatch showed a bunch of birdhouses he built following Ben, the birdhouse Bob's design ideas with the force and the bits and all that. So why don't we do a birdhouse challenge for the week of Thanksgiving? For the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, birdhouse challenge. So turn what you want, turn it how you want, decorate it what you like. And I'm looking for those gnome birdhouses to come out. I'm sure that's out there. But have a little fun with it. Mix up the woods. As Kim Tiplin told you a long time ago, there's no scrap wood. It's just wood that hasn't been turned yet. So look in a pile, pick out some stuff, and turn the birdhouse. We're going to go for that the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Gotcha.
And then I was asked, could we maybe do some Christmas ornaments for Christmas? You know, there's not a reason in the world we can't do that. Isn't it our club? Can't we do it, you know?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So
Are you guys familiar with that Christmas ornament challenge? That who does that online? One of the name turners who's been doing YouTubes a while does a Christmas ornament challenge every year. My club won that challenge last year, and we got a free demo out of it from him.
Alan Stratton.
Tim Yoder?
I think it's
Alan Stratton.
It's Alan Stratton. Yeah, and his demo was good too. So you know, if we get enough Christmas ornaments, maybe we could enter them all as the wood, you know, Worldwide Woodturners Club or whatever, and maybe we could win that a free demo. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be nice.
To piggyback on what you're saying there, Matt, Alan Stratton did just produce a video on YouTube last week about this year's challenge. There's a bunch of gifts, giveaways, and other things for everybody that enters, and then there's some special ones for the ones that they pick. So, not trying to, you know, rob anything from anybody, but he does have a challenge. And when he was at SWAT, I ran into him and told him I'd be putting one into his challenge this year. So hope everybody else joins too. That's Alan Stratton with As Wood Turns, I believe.
Good. All right. A lot of information going out. But we're going to a birdhouse challenge, and it's going to be for the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and there are no limits. No limits. That's crazy to do, but I don't want to turn anybody away. I can't do that because I got a little bitty lathe. I can't do that because I got a big lathe. If it turns wood, you can turn a birdhouse. It's just that simple. Scott Hampton thinks Jim's got to get into the business of publishing a book with his jigs and plans on how to make them. He might not want a job, Scott. He's having too much fun in the shop. All right. Anybody else up for gallery? In about 10 minutes, we're going to go to Matt Harber. Have we seen Safety Sue tonight? No.
Sue tonight.
No. But,
A lot of
you know,
regulars missing. Sue.
Pardon me?
There's a lot of regulars missing. Sue, Dane, Cade.
I've seen the photographs of Cade in Great Britain, and
Yes.
he had a ball. He really did. And how I judge demonstrations is when you look at the demonstration, a picture of the demonstration, and the crowd, the audience is packed, and everybody is watching that guy.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw on all of Cade's stuff.
99. They had 99 people at one of his demos.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go to Jimmy Lee.
Jimmy Lee, talk to us, Jimmy.
Jimmy, where you at? Hey, Jimmy, you're up. Jimmy, you still there? Found him.
You got him?
He's gone.
Oh,
There, Jimmy, can you hear me? Okay. Let's go to
all right.
Terry.
We'll check with him in a little bit.
Yeah.
See what he's got.
Terry.
Folks, the way it works is if Brenda introduces you, you have to start talking. Don't wait for anything else to happen. Start talking because we're looking at this little bitty screen, and that's where we'll find you so we can talk to you.
Found Terry.
We got Terry right now, but hey,
Like she'd
Brenda,
already
Jimmy,
found me.
yeah, Jimmy came back, so we'll go to
Well,
Terry
that is-
first.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead, Terry.
I had a pretty busy week. I had a lot of things going on. I didn't get out in the shop much, but I did get out this afternoon for a little while. And that hackberry I was telling you I got last week, I got it in a trailer out of the sun, but I cut it in smaller pieces and it's cracking quick. So I tried to work on a little of it. This isn't finished, but it's just a little platter plate. And it's a hackberry. It's got a lot of character. I love
Yes,
all
it
the
does.
Spalding in it. It doesn't have any
Beautiful.
finish on it. It'll really pop when it gets some finish on it. And that was one piece. I cut this piece. It was like 2 inches thick. And I thought that was too thick for any design I could get out of it. So I cut it in half again. While it was on the lathe and made 2 plates. But neither one of them are done. This one's got some big holes in it. I think I'm going to put some turquoise inlays or something in them.
Beautiful.
Kind of make it pop out a little bit. But the one I wanted to show you, see if I can figure out how to work this thing again. Where am I? Come on. No, come on. Oh, what happened? I lost everybody. Did I lose you?
Jimmy became invisible. I mean, Terry became invisible.
Your
We can still
bandwidth
hear-
is
we can still
low.
hear you,
There, I'm
Terry.
back. Okay.
There you go. You're back.
There we go. You want to see my table?
Yep,
Yes.
see the table.
This is a piece I told you I was working on last week. Let me back up and get a little more light on it. And it's just got one coat of finish on it. This is a piece of that hackberry. It's
Sweet.
about probably 14, 15 inches in diameter.
Are those
And
things really tippy,
round
Terry?
natural edge on it. And it's got a ton of character and Spalding to it. I was able to save most of it, but I was telling you that I got it. I planned on it being a bowl, just a regular bowl, but I got the bottom so thin that I was afraid to try to put a foot on it. I thought I would make a funnel. So I went ahead and made it a pedestal. This is another piece of the hackberry that I made a pedestal out of. It's about 15 inches tall, I would guess. Down at the bottom, that's where the bark was, and I just knocked the bark off, and it was all full of wormholes, and cleaned it all up with a little wire wheel. I made a couple of them that were round, and I really didn't like them when I turned the bottom of it round to a barrel-like, and I didn't like them. I thought this had a lot more character. And it's kind of rough all the way around. It's chainsaw cut, and I just took and polished it up a little bit. You still see chainsaw marks and stuff in it. And
Beautiful.
but it came out. It's got a lot of character to it, and
Yes, it
it
does.
is what it is. It's got a little
Great
more
job,
finish to
Terry.
go on it, but it's. I'm trying to get through some of that box elder because I'm going to lose it all quick. It's just when it was in big logs, it didn't break. But as soon as I cut it up to bring it home, then it started going all crazy on me. But that's all I got, guys.
Well, thanks,
And,
Terry.
thanks
you some of them
thanks a
big-
lot to Jim, and thanks a lot to everybody that helped last week and got me Jim's information, and I got stuff coming. We're gonna try a kaleidoscope pretty soon. So
Nice.
we'll see how that goes.
Hey, get you a
Maybe with
large
Jim's
paper
help,
trash
I'll get
bag,
something
put your
done.
wood in there. Get you a large paper trash bag and put that wood in there and close it.
Yeah, I did now. I waxed it and stuff, but it's got cracks. I don't know. It's dry already. It's really dry. It must have been down or dead for years. But I'm surprised this piece here, it looked like it was punky on one side, and I threw it aside when I when I picked up the wood, and it's like 10 miles away, and I got the bowl done, and I didn't want to cut up a piece that I had. So I went back and looked, and this piece was actually in a reject pile that I had thrown away. So it's pretty good.
Yes, it is.
That's a good looking reject
That's
there,
what we
brother.
got.
Yes.
And
Thanks, Terry.
again, I want to thank everybody for all they do.
We're here for
Somebody
you.
knows how to use this thing.
All right, let's go to Jimmy.
All right. I said something a couple of weeks ago about a bowl that I tried to turn. One thing I found out about the Harbor Freight tools is they will, they'll help you gain some sharpening experience, that's for sure. And I don't know if you call this a bowl or if you probably call it an ashtray. I don't know. It's cherry. I don't know if you can even see it. There we go.
Back it up. Yeah.
Made out of some old firewood that I got. I use cherry, pecan, and oak for smoking. And I started turning this, and all my tools got dull on me. And I just took my round nose scraper and finished scraping out the inside of it. But hey, I'm learning. I'm having fun too. My brother told me that I had to start taking some time off and to work on the house, and so I've been getting some lathe time. I did this yesterday, and I'm not sure if we're going to call that a Christmas tree or we're going to call that a mushroom condominium. I got a wormy pecan. My wife said it looks like a Christmas tree. I said it looks like a mushroom condominium to me, but I'm new to these camera things, so y'all have to just be patient with me. But I did that
You're doing great, Jimmy.
What kind of finish you got on that? That's pretty shiny.
It's polyurethane. It's a warm finish. It kind of brightened up the pecan, and then I sprayed it with a high gloss clear. And it's got a little. My firewood pile is full of carpenter ants and all kind of critters, so everything I've got is wormy. But I thought that was kind of pretty because it's got the dark on one side and it's light on the other side, and that turned out. I enjoy doing that. Today I got to work on just playing around. This is done with nothing but the skew. I've been hearing an awful lot about how everybody's scared. For me, my skew works better than anything else. I guess I'm getting used to it, but I actually got to turn a couple of little beads. I don't know.
Yep, good job.
And I was playing around with some of this shape like a table leg, kind of that way it might look like the beginning of a table leg. But I just been playing around trying to get used to how the tools work, and we're looking at maybe getting me some little better tools to play with. So right now I'm just learning how to manipulate them and make them do what they're supposed to do, and not knock my fingers off. So I did.
Pretty good.
I did get my fingers almost knocked off the very first time I used it, because I tell you, if you don't put that tool in there just right, it'll knock your lights out. So, I learned real quick like not to do that. But that's all I got. So hopefully I'll have something next week.
Good. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jimmy.
And Jimmy, the important thing about using the tools is learn how they cut. And the best way to learn how they cut is so simple. It's right here. A pocket knife.
Yeah.
How would you shave a pole or a stick or whatever using a pocket knife? And just watch the position the blade is in and how it cuts. And then that, like, you good with a skew, you're probably pretty good with a pocket knife. And that'll be that. But that will hold through all your tools, every one of them, if you can envision how the cutter works. And my recommendation for anybody is get a piece of junky wood, put it on a lathe, and practice cuts. Don't make anything, just practice cuts.
Make shavings.
Yeah. All right. In just a minute, we're going to go to Matt Harber. He's going to have a demonstration for us on finials, but I want to do this before we get there because folks are asking us what is the deal with the demonstrators and all, and I'm trying to get it up here. The demonstrators are performed by our members. The demonstrations are all on a truly volunteer basis. We don't have any sponsors or affiliations or provide for expenses or paid demonstrators. Note that many of our demonstrators perform demonstrations for RID and club programs. I appreciate your interest in our demonstrations and we appreciate your input, but let's say this first. Let's get the demonstration done before we throw a lot of coal on the fire because these folks work hard at what they do. They just bring it to you and it's worth the price of admission. It is. Now
We
we
will
head down.
pressure you into it though.
Pardon me?
I said, we will pressure you into a demo though.
Oh yeah.
It could happen.
Not fully voluntary. We will pressure you.
Oh yeah. No pressure. Just be careful what you say, where, and when.
We'll write you down.
A lot of encouragement, put it that way.
Okay.
You know, somebody jumped on me the other day about the analogy I make, but it's simple. We're a bunch of wood turners sitting on a tailgate out in the parking lot. We're sharing stories, tips, tricks, and telling lies. Well, is that any different than a club meeting? That's what we're doing. So, and if you want to be part of the telling lies or whatever, hey, we're right here and we're ready for you. Let's head to the Detroit area, and we have Matt Harber doing our demonstration tonight. Matt can be with us as soon as he talks. There he is, and we got him spotlighted.
All right, am I good to go?
Yeah,
you're good to go.
All right. I'm Matt Harber. My demo tonight is on finials. So let me switch to this one here. So there's my contact information. This is a sea urchin ornament that I turned with a finial on both the top and the bottom. Oh, that didn't work. Sorry, hang on a second, guys. Something going on with the computer here. So these are finial examples. These are all working finials. They all work. It can be elaborate or small or an icicle like on the ornaments, the urchin ornaments in the middle bottom there. You can make them like that one in the lower left corner where it's done as a inside out ornament. So these all work. These are all working examples. One of the things that you want to like the one second from the right is a small little finial that's black on top of a red vase or something hollow form. And I think it's important to make your finial fit your piece. So if you've got a small little box, you don't want to put a big honking finial on it. And likewise, if you've got a really big vase, probably a little tiny finial isn't going to cut it. So try to keep that in mind. These are more examples here. Let me switch to this camera here and say that, and do a little chalk talk first of all. I'm a fan of Cindy Drozda's work. Let me do it this way. And she tries to build the finials as a tall pyramid or a cone. So these outer lines show how she thinks about things, and I like this look. So basically, the first thing I do when I turn a finial is I'll turn it into a long cone, and then I'll begin shaping the bits and pieces of it. You're always working towards your headstock down here so that you keep the thin bits out here and you don't come back to them. So if you need to sand them, you sand them when they're done, and then you move further down and do the next parts. Okay. So these are, let me switch back to this. These are more examples. The ones all on the lower side there are all icicle finials. The finials on the top row, 1, 2, 3, and 5 are all based on the Cindy Drozda way of looking at them. I don't know who did number 5, but someday I'll do something like that too. But these are not mine. These are ones I got off the internet somewhere, ones that I admire and look to inspiration for. Okay, any questions so far on any of that so far? That's a no.
Nope, let's rock and roll.
All right. Switch back to this and go here. So my steps on this are pretty basic, and I've tried to be very explicit. So between centers, I'm going to turn the tenon and the base, and then I put it in my chuck. So that's, I'm going to start from this point. So and then I'll from doing step 2. Okay, so that's where I'll start at the end of step 2. Begin turning the finial from the tailstock and moving towards the headstock. I just talked about that, so that you keep the meat of the wood, so that things don't wobble and you're not trying to turn with things that are too thin between you and the headstock. When chattering or bowing is detected, you need to finish the tailstock end and remove the tailstock. And if you can support the finial at that point, that's a good idea. Now, in meetings past, we've talked about string steadies, and a string steady rest is a small tool rest that uses a piece of wax string to hold the finial. Tonight, when I get to that point, I'm going to use a little bit of kit here that Don Doyle makes. This is from Rubber Chucky. It's got a bearing in the end, and it fits on it screws onto your tailstock onto the mandrel, and that I will use that to hold it steady when we get there. But I could probably get it done without doing that, but I like to be sure. So and I'll show that when I get there. Okay. So, and this is important, step number 5, any pressure applied by tools or sanding must be matched by equal pressure to minimize bowing and or chatter. So what that means, and I'll show that when I get there, and I'll start turning here in a second, so that we can, when we get there, I can show that. So what that means is that if I'm turning a very thin finial and I'm sanding on this side, I need to put a support or a finger on the other side so that I don't break the finial off. Is that clear?
Oh yeah, I read that someplace. Didn't happen to me.
Yeah. I'm sure. Okay. Some of the finials that I've done here are this was one of the first little ones I did. This is these first 3 are out of box elder, and I broke the tip off of this, but it was nice enough that I decided I'd try and finish it a little bit. So I'll find a use for that at some point. This is another practice I did. I did this one in one of the demos I did. So now you'll notice something, that these all have the same size little tenon on the bottom of them. And that's what this is for. This is a little wrench I got at my corner pawn shop for like $1. And it's my gauge. So my tenons are all exactly 1/4 inch. And what that means is I can, wherever I want to put this finial, I can just drill, put a 1/4 inch drill bit or a 1/4 inch Forstner bit in my drill and just make the hole, and all the finials will fit. So if I'm in finial making mode, I'll just make a bunch of them with a 1/4 inch tenon on them, and then they'll fit anything I make with a 1/4 inch hole. So this one I did in another demo. This is hard maple, no longer box elder. Hard maple is what I'm going to be using tonight. I used my little wood burning deal to burn that line in there, just to show how it could be done. And finials can take a lot of different forms. Like this is a single piece of wood. I think I did this in a demo for you guys at one point. I don't remember, but this little finial on the bottom of this little ornament here is a legit finial, and it's not too big and it's not too small. And I had this one sitting around here on the that I've been playing with for quite a while. And I made this birdhouse and decided to, because it's been sitting in my shop, I'm like, all right, I'm going to stick that on there. So I did, and it's probably a little long, but it works. And I've got some bloom on the lacquer, so I've got to do some sanding and finish it up a little bit. But this was, I do some playing. This is a good, I don't know, 6 inches long. So this is a lot of fun to do, and it's got the same 1/4" tenon that these other ones do. And I just, you know, when I decided I found something to need, I knew exactly what hole I needed to drill to put that in there. Any questions so far?
Let's make some shavings.
All right. Indeed. So this is my piece of hard maple. We had some questions a while back about maples, and I've got like 4 common maples in my area. And I've always sort of wondered what constituted hard maple and soft maple. So I did a little research, and of my 4 maples, those are silver maple, sugar maple, red maple, and box elder. There's only one of them that classifies as a hard maple, and that's the sugar maple. The others are soft maples. So this is hard maple and probably sugar maple. And what I've done is I've got a tenon on the end. I've got my tail stalks up, and I've turned it round. Okay. So that's where we're picking up in the instructions here on here. So that's like starting with step number 3. I'm going to begin turning the finial, and I'm going to begin working on this end of it here. And because I've got pressure on here and I've got my live center in, I want to put the top of my finial further down here. Okay, and the reason why I want to do that is I don't want any of the bent wood or the holes or stuff I've got from here interfering with the top of my finial. So, and I'm going to move this camera a little bit, so bear with me here. Okay. Tools I'm going to be using tonight. Deep fluted bowl gouge, swept back shoulders. I'm going to do that for the primary roughing. Small deep fluted bowl gouge, swept back shoulders. I will show you how I use this, but I do this for fine detail. Everything is really sharp, by the way. I've sharpened everything before doing this. You're going to be working with some small details, and you need to make sure your tools are really sharp, because a lot of it, I really like to get shear cuts with these, so I don't have to do a lot of sanding on them, and sharp tools really help. This is a basic skew. It's got a little bit of a rounded edge to it. This is a detail gouge. It used to be a spindle gouge. You guys have seen this before. Basically what I did is just like a 1/2" spindle gouge, and I just basically steepened the angles and swept the shoulders back a little bit. I made the contour, steepened the angle, and swept the shoulders back. What this lets me do is this lets me roll the tool into a groove and do very fine detail with this. And the only other thing I'm going to be using is this parting tool. Okay. Questions on any of this so far? All right. Face shield. So the top of my finial is going to be about here. And the bottom of my finial is going to be about here. So I want to make a tall cone down to that. Now, while I'm looking at this, that base is a little wide, so I'm going to shorten the base up a little bit and make sure I've got it. Let me see. Let me use the skew to do this with. So I'm going to use the skew and define where the bottom of my base is. Okay. So one of the things that this cone shape does is it forces you into a general overall shape. one of the things that you learn when you're carving wood is you want some bit of the carving, like say you're carving a leaves or something, you want one bit of the carving to be on the outside surface of the original vessel. So if somebody looks at it in silhouette, they can see, they can still see the original shape, and it makes sense as a bowl, even though it's carved. So the same thing is true for these. Is you're getting your general shape outlined so that, and what that does is it forces you into making things long and tall, okay? So you don't get the squatty ones like we were talking about earlier. Okay, there's my general shape. And you could do this with a skew too, if you were so inclined. This is going to pop off here in a second. So I want to make, this is the detail gouge. I'm going to make a little feature here. This is probably done. All right, hang on. It's not off yet. Okay. I'm going to make sure I take this bit off at the end because the pressure will cause the very thin bits to bow. Okay. Am I in the way? I'm hitting my camera. Sorry, guys. Let me shift it over here and do this with it. Sorry about that. Any questions so far?
Members, this is an interactive demonstration. If you do have questions, we'd like to hear them. It makes it better because if you have that question, somebody else probably does too.
I've got a question. At this point, do you have a finial in mind, or do you have a plan or a favorite design, or what?
I do. That finial is basically, I tend to do them. Let me see if I can find what I did with the ones I removed here. It's basically this general shape. Okay. It's basically this general shape. Okay. I'm going to put a little feature here, which I kind of sort of been shaping. I'm going to put a sort of a bead here. And then what I like to do is I like to have the transition. I think it looks better it looks good to have a transition from this bead. I'm going to enlarge this. Okay. I've got a bead here. All right. And I like having a sort of a cone thing here. Okay. So the bead is in here. The cone comes in like that. And this is all wood, of course. So I like to have that transition into the thin bit here of the onion like that. So this is my general shape here. And if I can, I'm gonna try and scoop this bit out here. Whoops. Yeah, that didn't work. If I can, I'm gonna try and scoop that bit out a little bit too. Okay. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So and the hard maple is really good for finials. It makes, you can get some really fine little points on the ends of things. So I like doing that a lot, using the hard maple for these finials. And not only that, but if you want them black, they dye really well with like the chestnut spirit stain black. So I'm sorry, here it is. So this is in general where I'm going with that. Okay. About like that. All right. So here's the little figure on the top. There's a little bead. There's the little cone transition into the thin part. Okay. Does that answer the question?
Sure does. Yeah, looks great.
All right. Thank you. So I'm using my little detail gouge to shape this bit, and I'm going to put on glasses so I can see what I'm doing. So I can make really fine cuts with this tool, and you can do it with a skew too if you're adept at it. But I can make a really fine cut. Am I in the way? No.
But we just learned that you're all wearing a shield.
Yeah, absolutely I am. Let me zoom in on this. Sorry, I'm trying to zoom in on it here. It's not doing it well. 3, 2. I zoomed in the wrong one. Here we go. All right. So I can get a really fine point and scoop it out like that. And then let me turn this up a little bit. And then I can put a little bead in here. You guys see what I'm doing?
Yes. Somebody's going to ask you, what speed are you spinning at right now?
1950.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Is that bead in relation to what the onion is going to be further back?
No, it's in relation to the cone, the larger cone. Let me drop this back a little bit here.
No, I got you. I understand.
So this whole cone it's just a little bit smaller than the surface of the outside of this cone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because I want this bit here is probably going to scoop down in here like this, and then an onion down about here, or maybe further down, maybe here. But I want this to be a little shallower here. Now, one of the things I like to do, and I follow this, a lot of these skill sets here will work with goblets too, especially thin stemmed goblets, is I like doing curved rather than straight stems on goblets, and curved rather than straight small bits here on this part. And the reason why I do that is if something's straight and you make a mistake, even the slightest mistake, is it jumps out at the viewer. But if it's curved, you can get away with slight aberrations and slight mistakes.
There are no flat spots in the curve. That's a basic design. No flat spots in the curve.
Right. If you got the curve right and you don't have a flat spot, you can move the contours of it. You can move the contours of it, whether the narrow part is here or wherever it is. You can change and move the contours of it and get away with it. Whereas if it's straight, it's got to be straight along the whole length of it, if you know what I mean. So I'm making, with this tool, I'm making a very light shearing cut as I roll it into the thin bits. Now's the time to sand this, okay? So, and I'm also, with this tool, I'm also cutting on the side of the flute. So I'm rolling the tool in and I'm getting a cut along the side of the flute, which gives me a shearing cut. Is that clear to people, or would anybody like an explanation further of that?
Well, look at the shavings he's generating, members. Look at there's no chips down there. There are shavings.
So I'm getting here until I cut, and then I'm getting streamers. Can't really see them, but they're really little streamers. Okay, let's do a little more talk here about the onion. So the onion, this bit here, right? So what it is it's basically an OG. Okay, you've got one set of contours that starts off like this, and it curves the same way, and then as you start to get in here, it transitions and goes around here. So you've got, you're cutting this way, and then you're cutting this way. All right. So it's a basic OG.
Matt,
Yes.
we're not seeing what you're drawing.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
There you go.
Thank you, Brenda. Because
There
I
you go.
zoomed in. Let me do this. Dang it. I'll have to do it all over again. All right. Sorry, guys. So your OG, it starts off one set of curves and it's curving like this. Okay. So like that. And then about here, you transition into this bit and curve the other way down into the base of it. Okay. So that's your OG that you're doing. And what if you make this bit too fat, okay, then it doesn't look right. So what you want to do with these onions is you want to start that transition. You want to elongate your onion a little bit, okay? And don't make it, look like a Hershey's Kiss or whatever, okay? So that's what I've done, or what I've tried to do with this one here, okay? And I don't know if you can really see that very well. How about the back? There we go. That's better. So I start my transition here, and it's a very gentle curve down into here. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I've elongated that onion to keep it from turning into a Hershey's Kiss. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And now I want to make this bit here thinner, okay? Let me zoom in a little more here. So I want to make this part here thinner because I want to make this part here thinner, okay? So that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to start my curve down into my base there. So now I'm going to cut downhill and make this bit thinner. All right. So let's get if I can't get my base better defined. This is a skew and I'm using the tip. Like I say, you can do this onion with the skew like I'm doing here. You can do it with the detail gouge. You can do it with the bowl gouge. I can come back and hit this with the skew this way. Now I'm taking very light cuts here because again, this is going to get thin here in a hurry. So that's probably, well, maybe a little thinner. And I want this to be thinner. So what I've got the tool, this deep fluted bowl gouge, small deep fluted bowl gouge, is laying on top of the finial. And I am cutting with the bottom flute, and I'm getting a shear cut when I do that.
Really?
Really.
Oh gosh, sorry.
Now I could do that with the tip. Now I can get really thin doing this. because the pressure is not that way, it's that way. Okay, make sense?
Yeah, very much.
Oh yeah, excitement is permitted. If you see something that excites you, go ahead.
So that's still a little thick for my taste. Yeah, let's make it a little smaller. All right, and now let's round this out here. That's probably as thin as I dare go with that. And let me dig through here and find a little bit of sandpaper here. Okay, so I'm going to use my finger. I'm going to sand one direction and use my finger to equalize that pressure. Actually, let me start a little thicker. So, and the reason why I'm doing that is so I don't snap this thing off. Okay, questions so far?
I like the shape of the onion. I've got to learn.
Thank you.
Okay, just to make sure I understand what you said, when you're cutting this length coming back to the onion, your tool is on top of the wood, you're cutting with the bottom wing.
I'm cutting with this bottom flute in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I'm cutting here and it's on top. So I'm coming and I'm getting a very sharp angle with that bottom flute. Okay.
Okay.
And the pressure is that direction into the headstock. It's not that way because I don't want to pop it out. Any pressure, and it's not much pressure of any kind. I'm letting the tool edge do the cutting. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see how steep that angle is of that tool, but I'm cutting on, up here. This is where I'm cutting in the middle of this flute and coming this way. Okay. And if you're doing that with a skew, it's the same thing. You've got to get a steep angle. So you get your slicing cut, your shearing cut. And ideally you want to go downhill. Okay. So, coming uphill is not, you're going to introduce some tear out if you come uphill. So you want to go downhill. I did a little bit of it coming uphill, but I came back and cleaned it up a little bit. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Does that answer the question?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Okay. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
All right, good. Anything else?
I'm going to have a weird question at the end, but
okay.
But it wouldn't be appropriate right now.
Okay.
It has to do with sharpening the detail gouge. I keep screwing up the sharpening of my detail gouge.
Okay, we'll cover that at the end.
Yeah.
All right, let me quickly go back to my document here and see where we are. Oh. All right, point number 5. Any pressure applied by tools or sanding must be matched by equal pressure to minimize bowing and or chattering. If necessary, bring in a steady rest or similar device to reduce vibration on the free end. Okay, now number 7 here has applied throughout this demonstration is take very thin cuts with very sharp tools. especially if the stem is getting very thin. Now we're out of danger here. And I can finish this off without using the without using the little helper here. But this is how that works. There's a bearing in this end, in the top end here, and you basically just move it up so it's just touching. And what that does is it keeps this from vibrating. Okay. So this is just to keep it from breaking off. Okay. And you don't have to use it. I could probably finish. All right, tell me this, guys. Would you rather see me finish it using this or not using it?
Don't use it.
Yeah, use
Okay.
it, please.
All right. You guys.
You say you got that from Ducky?
Yeah, this is Rubber Chucky, Don
Yeah,
Doyle at
Chucky.
Rubber Chucky. And he calls it a finial Chucky or something like that.
Finial Chucky. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Now this line here is my base. This is going to be the bottom. Okay. So let me get my little example bit here. So that's this bit here, this base here. Okay. So whatever I'm doing now is this bit here is in this space. Okay. So I'm going to get my deep fluted, my big one out and get a little closer to there's the top of my base. So I'm going to get this fairly close to keep that overall shape in place, so that there's a continuation in the outside contours like that. That makes sense. So that's probably good there.
Do you ever get the box out and like hold it up next to there to see if it's in proportion to what you're making it for?
No, usually what I do is I make a bunch of these in different shapes and sizes, and all with a 1/4 inch tenon. And then when I've got something that I want to put a tenon on, I've got 5, 6, 8 of them that I can say, oh, that one's the right size. But if I've got to make one for it, I have when I start off, I've got a really good idea about how I want that, how big I want that to be. So if I'm making one specifically for something, then I have a general idea, whether it's 3 inches or 6 inches or what. And even if you're just making a little knob to go on the top of a box, then you know how big that is. And if I've made one, I mean, when I first started making boxes, I had difficulty getting that right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I made a box with a knob on the top of it that was really kind of obscenely too big, and you're like, somebody bought it and I'm grateful for that person, but it's like, you look at it and you say, that really doesn't work very well. I could do better than that.
I knew woodworkers that made dresser drawer knobs, and they would make 8 of many different sizes and then pick the one that worked.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I do with the finials. I mean, you saw the batch I have here.
Yeah. Good idea.
So, and I like to undercut these. And, again, you could do this with a skew. I'm using the detail gouge to do it because it works and I can curve it easily, but I could easily do that with a skew. And I'm making a slicing cut into the bottom here. Okay, so I'm happy with that transition. I like this. Well, needs to be cleaned up a little. But I like the sizes. I like the proportions of things.
I love the proportions.
So, and I would come back with, you know, with some sandpaper and clean this up and so now I've got to make my little tenon here. So this stuff becomes and I'm going to switch to parting tool. Now the bit on the end, the rubber chucky, finial chucky that's holding this is not exerting any pressure. It's just keeping it in place. So I don't have that problem of having, you know, the little tenon tear out. Now, one of the things to do is you never know if your box top or your vase top is going to be curved. So it's usually a good idea to undercut the base of the finial. So I'm doing that right now. One of the things I like about the way I've ground this tool is it lets me undercut things easy. And the reason why it undercuts things easily is it's not quite straight. It's a little slanted. Okay. And this is an experiment because I saw somebody else did it and I said, you know, that looks interesting. So I bought a cheap tool. I think the tool cost me 15 bucks. Benjamin Best, you got to love it. And ground it the way I wanted to. And I screwed it up the first time I ground it because it was too steep. But I'm really happy with this, and it's one of my favorite tools, and I use it a lot. One of the things I can do with this, if I'm going straight in parting, it goes in really easily. But I can also turn it a little bit and sort of get a slicing scrape and get a really smooth cut with it just by turning it a little bit. So it's just a basic parting tool.
Interesting.
All right. So I'll get out my handy dandy gauge here. Got a ways to go yet. Let's check it. I'm nearly there. Just a smidge left. Any questions about any of this that I'm doing right now?
Do you use the same tools if you were turning it out of like ebony or blackwood?
Yes. I use pretty much these same tools for just about everything. I'm putting pressure on this now. So I'm a 1/4 inch all the way down here. So now because I'm a wimp and this is a demo, I'm going to saw it. All right, let's go find it under the lathe here. Okay, so here's the finial that I've just turned.
Beautiful.
Great
Okay.
work.
Thank you. And I've got to, you know, clean this up so it'll fit in a 1/4 inch hole, but that is a 1/4 inch. So, and this is, I like the way this looks. That could be a little tighter, but in, you know, and there's a little bit of a flat spot in there, but by and large, I'm pretty happy with that.
Great job, man.
So thank you.
Looks excellent. Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was the question that came in earlier?
So I
About
have a
the wood.
question about the gouge. Are you referring to that?
Yeah, the spindle gouge.
Yeah, for the detail gouge, for some reason, every time I try to create a detail gouge, I end up with something that looks more like a harpoon. I know you know what I mean. You've got a nice curve on the end of it. Why do I keep ending up with something that looks like a needle at the end?
The key to reshaping these tools, this started off as a spindle gouge. Okay, so the the grind on it was here, and it was 75 degrees or whatever that is. Okay, so I have the True Grind sharpening system, and if you look that up on YouTube, it came with a DVD, and they put that video up on YouTube. And it's a great video because the second half of it is how to sharpen all your tools with really good pictures, really good views. And it'll work for the Wolverine. It'll work on a platform, because if you watch how they're getting the angles right and so on, and they show you how to make a deep fluted bowl gouge. Okay. How to make an Irish grind out of a deep fluted bowl gouge. And I use that information. And the first thing they tell you to do is, when you're making an Irish grind, is the first thing you do is you shape this contour. Okay, so let me get that in profile. This is a curved contour. So the first thing you do is you shape this contour. Okay, and then you make the bevel, and then you grind the sides to match. Okay, so taking that information, the way I did it is I put this on the grinder and I shaped this contour how I liked it. Okay, so I got this round first. Okay,
right.
Then I set the bevel angle I wanted, and then I spent most of the time getting the sides the way I wanted. And then the last thing you do is you just take it. You've got your angle on your grinder, and then you just take it all the way around the grinder one pass when it's all close. Just evening things up. Okay,
that explains what I've been doing wrong. Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
and I
feel really
hone this.
silly about it.
That's okay. We all have things that get in our way, so no problem. So, and then I hone this a lot, and it's just you set it on the bevel, and then you hone it.
Beautiful.
So, I mean, you can see I hone this. Okay, I'm sorry. Other questions?
Come on, members, jump in there.
No questions. Thank you. Very great
You
demo.
did a great job. It's hard to have questions when you do such a thorough job of explaining.
Thank you. You're very kind.
That was an excellent demo. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome. I hope that I've answered a lot of the questions. You guys understand how the onion works. I've gone over the basics of how to do thin turning, because that thin stuff, it's the same techniques that works on thin stemmed goblets. You can't put pressure on the thin pieces of wood that you're turning, or if you're turning a trembleur or whatever they call those long thin things that are 6 foot long and fractions of an inch thick.
Do you ever finish it on the?
I don't. Usually, a lot of times I'll end up dyeing them black. So I will get them sanded, and then I'll dip them in the chestnut spirit stain to make them black, because that's usually what color they end up being. So and then I'm usually spraying lacquer or spar urethane or poly or something like that.
When I go and make finials, cutting up towards my onion, I will get hard spots. I don't know the right term. I've tried putting a relief bevel on my tool, and that helps some, but not a whole heck of a lot. But I was.
When you say hard spot, when you say
yeah,
hard spot, is that where you're burnishing the wood because you're riding the bevel?
Yeah.
Cutting? Okay. Well, the game that I play with that is I am again getting a shear cut with the edge of the tool. I'm riding the bevel a little bit, okay, but I'm getting a shear cut with the edge, with the flute of the tool. Okay, so I ride that in like that. I'm riding the bevel, but lightly. I'm letting the tool edge do the cutting, but I'm making sure that it's the tool edge in a shearing angle that does the cutting. Whether it's this tool or this tool, it's the same thing. You got to make sure you got that shearing edge and you're letting the edge do the cutting. I have made these with just a skew because somebody said, show me how you do that with just a skew. So I'm not as good with the skew as I am with some of the other tools, like I think the deep fluted bowl gouge, but it's the same technique. Is you want to get that edge shearing, and you want to do all your cutting with that edge, that tool edge, while you're gently riding the bevel down into the cut. Make sense?
That's why I was so surprised when you were talking about riding on top of your finial and cutting with the bottom edge flute. I don't think I've ever done that. So,
well, get a piece of wood, make it round, and make shavings and practice that cut because it'll serve you really, really well. I mean, I do it a lot. I mean, you saw me doing it with this tool. So with the big deep fluted bowl gouge. So I do the same thing, especially when I'm turning a goblet. I will sit down here. I'll start off with the tool tip going right into the wood, getting a shear cut. But then as I get to the point where I'm going down the stem, I will roll the tool up through that curve so that by the time I get to the point where I'm doing the stem, I'm in that same position. I'm sitting on top of the piece and I'm riding, but I'm cutting the edge with the tool edge in the shear.
Okay.
So you're not putting pressure on it with the bevel. You're just sort of letting it ride. Now, if you get softer wood, if you're doing it with pine, then you stand a better chance of getting those hard spots of burnishing the wood with the bevel. So you've got to be, it's just a guide. It can't be pushing it into the wood, if you will, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Matt, I think one of the other things that you kind of hit on, but kind of glanced over it, going downhill. If you're taking that gouge or any other tool and you're trying to come uphill, you're going to press that bevel into the wood behind it, and that's another issue with the burnishing of the wood.
And right. I mean, and the temptation is to ride. Oops, let me switch back to this. The temptation is to ride that tool the whole length of the cut. Well, you can't really do that because when you're riding down this way, when you start to come back up, now you're cutting unsupported wood and you're going to raise the wood. You're going to get tear out. So when you start coming back uphill, right, this is downhill into the cut and this is uphill if you're coming this way. So that's why you cut to the middle and cut to the middle. Now I can get away with a certain amount of going this way if I'm taking really light shearing cuts and the pressure is into the tailstock rather than coming out, if you know what I mean, or going in. But as soon as I start, if it's just the tool edge cutting, as soon as I start to get steeper here, I'm going to start raising the grain, just like you said. That's an excellent point.
Okay. I give it a shot. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? Jump right in.
Did I have another page here? Yes, I did. I've got another page here where I've got links and resources. So these are YouTube links and the string steady rest if you want to use it. There's two different versions here. And link to Cindy Drozda's stuff on her page. Okay.
And all of this will be on our website. Dave says tomorrow. He will get this up tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And boy, that's Matt, this has been great. You covered it from what they say, soup to nuts. You showed us the technique of design, the cutting, even tools that you've modified to get it to work better. And you've eliminated some mysteries about what we can do with, what is that? What are you doing?
This is a spare blank. Bill asked in the chat if I had a spare blank, and yes, I did. In case I broke it.
We work through that. We really do. We've had that happen to some of the best turners we've ever had. All it does is show me that you're human, just like me. And those things happen. But tonight it didn't happen. You did absolute wonderful, sir. Wonderful.
Well, and that's, getting those cuts, and I can't emphasize that enough, is sharp tools, light cuts, going downhill. That's the real key to getting this done. And make sure that you don't push it so you break it. So any pressure, lateral pressure that's not into the headstock is good, could easily break it. So just be careful with that and let the tool edge do the work.
Yep. And I think you gave somebody advice a few moments ago is chuck up a piece of wood and go practice your cuts.
Yep.
Just practice your cuts. And if you think, well, what good is that going to do? Well, next time you crank up the lathe, that's going to do wonders for you. So thank you, Matt. Any other questions for Matt tonight?
Thank you very
Wow.
much, Matt. Truly.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, everyone. I'm happy to show these things that I know, and I look forward to what everybody does with it.
We enjoyed it too, Matt. Believe me, it's something.
All right, there you have it, folks. Another week with another great demonstration by another one of our members. And consider what I said earlier. This is done free, voluntarily by our members. And we've got a good list worked up right now. In 2 weeks, we're going to do tips and tricks. That's the only week we won't be doing a demonstration. And that's for us to share what you do, how you do it, and shortcuts you have developed in your own shop. And that we have a birdhouse thing going on right now. And just to let you know, that ain't the one I want. Doggone it. I got to learn how to read. Not only that, I got to figure out what button does what. Okay. I clicked on the right one. It just didn't come up. There we go. Our birdhouse challenge is set. It's all members, no restraints. Decoration is going to be critical. And it's set for Wednesday, November 23rd, 2022. And that's going to be our very first challenge like that. And trust me, folks, you can run with Bob Moffett. I mean, no doubt about it. You can run with Bob the Birdhouse Turner. But we want to see what you come up with. And I got to thinking about what you could play with. And as we saw Tim Hatch play with some details tonight, we've seen other folks play with details. It doesn't take a lot of wood, but it takes a lot of ingenuity and design. And just come up with something that kind of knock our socks off. That's what I like to see. And we're going to have a little fun with it. That's November 23rd. All right, now we're going to go back to gallery here, folks. If you've got something to show, and I just lost everything just now. All right, I'm back.
Eddie, can I raise the bar a little?
Oh boy, I don't know.
Here we go.
I was playing this one here is let me do this here. This one here is incorporated some of Bob's ideas I like a lot and some of other people. So I've got the natural edge top. Okay. Let me switch to the other camera here. So it's been, I've got a finial. I've got a long finial on it. Oh, that's not very good, is it? I've got a long finial on it.
Come back towards you.
There you go.
Come towards you.
Got a long finial on it. It's been airbrushed a little bit, and it's got some gilt paste on it, embellishment, little silver embellishment on it. So I'm not really happy with the shape on this one, but there's a lot you can do. And you now know how to make long finials, Matt Harber style or Cindy Drozda style or whoever else.
Yeah, and you used the tool that Brenda got this week, that Sorby. Oh, I'm going to come up with the name of that
Texture
texturing
tool.
Sorby texturing tool.
I did. This has got the Sorby on it, and it also has. I did the bottom part with the decorating elf. So I used 2 different texturing tools on this. So.
All right. So he raised the bar, folks. He really did. But we talked earlier, design is in your heart, and we want to see what you come up with, really. And it's just is a fun challenge. There are no prizes. We don't have any money. There's no prizes or anything. It's just to see what your ingenuity, what your artistic capabilities are. And you'll be shocked at how much you have to concentrate on holding and steadying. Remember, it's a little bitty piece, and you got to sand as you go. That's all I can tell you. You got to sand as you go. We'll go back to gallery. If you got something to show, what say what?
I've got something to tag on to what Matt has just shared with us. This is a finial that, let's see, if I do that, there we go. That's like spotlight yourself, right? Here's a finial that I did a while back. Most of you have probably seen that. This was a replacement finial that I did for one that got broken when the cats knocked it off. This one's about twice as thick as the original. The only thing that doesn't follow what Matt shared with us is the base, this part right down here. It's a little bit small. It should be a bit wider than this edge here. And that would give that triangular from top to bottom design. But that fit my piece that I had. So that's why I went with the size that I did. But yeah, it's the same idea, just going from the top to the bottom, sanding. I actually sanded each element. So when I did the top, I sanded it. When I did this bead, I sanded it. I did about half of this neck, sanded it, and then I did the bottom half down to this edge here and sanded it. And then all the rest of it I did together. But yeah, I mean, Matt's dead on. You can do it a number of ways, but the safest, if you want to get it successfully, consistently, Matt showed you probably the best way.
Yep, good. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Doug.
Yes,
Right. And
yeah, there's
Doug,
a lot of different ways to do it. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. And we've had a lot of good input tonight, really. And as I said, we're going to have gallery. If you got something to show, kind of wave. Don't do wave hand. That doesn't work for us. Just put it in the chat that you have something to show for gallery tonight. We'll get to it. Remember, in 2 weeks, our tips and tricks is coming up, and that's a good chance for you to show off the gizmos, gadgets, and devices that you've created for your shop to make things easy, safe, better, or whatever. We all have them. We all come up with these little things. Oh, you know what I got? You know what I got? Somebody the other day sent me a picture of a birdhouse they were turning, and they were holding it. They drilled it out. They shaped some of the bottom, and then they turned around to finish it out. They stuck it on a 1-inch hardwood dowel in their spigot jaws. And I'm thinking, how can it be tight? And then when he pulled it off, I saw it had tissue paper in there. You put a little tissue paper and tightens it up. And he got to finish off the bottom, shape it up, and it had a self-contained finial, which made it really unique to hold because he had to have it fairly stable to do that incorporated finial. So that's why we're going to do that birdhouse challenge. Tim Hatch doesn't want to just raise the bar. He wants to put the bar out of freaking sight. He said, do it with just a skew. So if you want to jump up, go ahead.
Hey, Captain, I got a question.
Go ahead.
Has anybody used an iPad to do a demo with? Not an iPhone, an iPad.
I have. I've recorded a whole bunch of my demos that go on YouTube on my iPad because I found that the camera is very good. I have a larger screen that I can see my placement and such in. I have a remote control for start and stop, and this headset and a couple of my other headsets will link up to it. But the beauty I see it is the size of the screen and the ability to make adjustments. And it's hard to do with a payphone.
How about to do a live demo on here, Captain?
Oh, I would do it in a heartbeat. I really would. I could set it up in 2 minutes. That's the beauty of this. You know, I could tell my
special program then.
No, I could tell my Zoom to look for my iPad. It'll come as one of my devices, and I select that as my camera, and boom, it's up there.
Cool. I just acquired an iPad, so I'm an Android guy, so I got to learn how to use it.
Oh, I love mine. I tell you, I don't go anywhere without it. Really, it's not that I'm a computer frenzy or anything or a geekhead. It's just that there's a lot of entertainment and a lot of information available. We looked for a place to go get lunch today, and I looked it all up on the iPad. Hey, she thought I was a freaking genius. All right. If you have something to show tonight for gallery, let's pop in and do it. Brenda has left us for her grandson, but we've got Doug Miller watching the store for us tonight. So if you have something to show, put it in the chat and say I do. If you didn't get to the chat and you want to do it right now, just say, hey, Eddie, and show us what you have. Oh, wow.
Eddie, I could show a safety blurb here. You got a chance?
Hey, I'm good for that, Jim. What you got?
First off, I saw this morning on Lancaster, Pennsylvania has a club or Zoom. I think it's Thursday morning breakfast. And one of the guys from Ontario, Canada showed this. And I think it's something you ought to see. Did that come up?
I'm looking at somebody as a coffee hour.
Should I start it?
I'm looking at.
Yeah, sure.
If
Go ahead and
everybody
play
can
it.
See this? This is an urn that I made. It's a staved urn. I put a removable plug in the bottom. Holds about 230 cubic inches, and it was made on a special request. And well, I'm actually made 2 of them, and you should be able to see me on the shop.
You got it.
Okay, just wait for it.
Whoa! Oh, whoa!
How do you like that?
I doubled up. It'll show it again here in just a second. So I know the first time around, everybody gets their attention. The second time, they look a little closer. So I run it twice.
Thank goodness he had the Uvex shield on.
Yeah. Okay.
I noticed you checked your teeth, Bert.
I won't show the rest of it. Couple things. First off, he had the face shield on. That was great. The other thing that saved him from a real blow in the chest was he had his cell phone in his pocket, and it bent the cell phone in half, and things happen fast. And this thing goes on, and they all blame it on the glue joints, and then they blame it on the kind of tool he was using. He was using a spindle roughing gouge. And after I thought about this, I thought, I've turned a lot of these things, and I make big birdhouses that kind of that way staved. I would bet what happened is he took a board and went over to his table saw and cut 8 staves. And that board was defective. It either had a wind shake in it or something. If you get one of those staves comes apart, that whole thing disintegrates. And that's exactly what you saw happen. He said he's only turning at 800 RPM. And I'll tell you, he got hit pretty good with that thing. It caved in his face shield and knocked the glass out of his glasses. He had to have it re-put in there. And instantly, and he's done many of these. The guy's from Ontario, Canada, and he's made all kinds of these things. But I can't believe it's the tool. Oh, also, the reason I believe this is he took all the pieces and he put it back together. And if you can do that, it didn't just, none of the glue joints broke. Everything broke in the wood. And after you stop to think about it, if you took one piece of wood that had some kind of a defect in it and cut 8 or 10, whatever amount of splines he had, I'll bet there was a defect in there. I just thought I'd show that, just pay attention.
It was scary, but thank you. It was scary.
Yeah, yeah, you remember it after that.
Right.
Yeah, wear that face shield. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was looking at a video on YouTube the other day, came from a meeting or a symposium, and there's a lady turning a pen or something, barefaced. There's a guy teaching her right next to her, barefaced. It might be nice to take a picture like that, but hey, if that's reality, boy, you're really messing up because you don't teach somebody how to do it wrong. I'm proud of the fact that we don't have to harp on the demonstrators about wearing their shields, etc. And yeah, it's for you. That's it. It's not a rule for us. It's a rule for you. So, all right. Tim
Matt
Hatch said
Harber
he
wants
just
to-
got his Uvex. Tim Hatch said he just got his Uvex, and heck, a lot better than that clear one from the old Home. Oh, don't talk bad about Home Depot, Tim. Come on, they satisfying poor people. Come on, they can't buy the good equipment. Uvex, when you do the Uvex, get the harder shield. They last longer and they clean easier. And if you're going to clean the shield, here it is: dust it off first, and then where we go? All right.
Okay.
We did go. All right. Dust it off first, and then go to something I like, the son of a gun spray for the interior cars. It's a polymer. It leaves a coating that doesn't get goofy on a vision, but it keeps the dust and stuff from sticking. And if you do finishing with super glue, make sure you treat it before you do the super glue, because if it's on an untreated surface, it's on there forever. All right.
Hey, Eddie, that stuff is son of a gun.
Did I say it wrong? It's son of a gun. I'm sorry. Yeah, and it's available at Amazon of all places. All right,
Matt
Doug,
Harber
you
would like
said
to
we
do
have
just
some.
a little. Matt wants to do a little follow up here.
Yeah, this is just
Go
real
for
quick. This is the little parting tool that I've got, the Benjamin Best parting tool. And somebody asked me about this angle. I think it might have been Jimmy Lee. This, I just measured it. This angle, it's slanted 15 degrees. So that's the angle on the tip. It's not straight. It's 15 degrees off straight on one side. So that's all I wanted to say.
Which allows you to do an underslice.
Yeah,
when
it
you're
lets
going
me.
up
It lets
under
me. I can undercut this way because it's now 15 degrees to flat, so I can undercut it. All my goblets, I use this tool now to undercut it and so on. So, and it, I mean, you saw it makes it a more versatile tool in my opinion. So, anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. I just saw another thing in the chat about the Uvex shield. We're not sponsored, so I'm not telling you about the Uvex shield because they gave me one. Nope, they shipped me one after I gave them the money. But when you go for a shield, think about what it's doing. Look at that image, that video that Jim showed us a few minutes ago. If that had hit a flimsy shield, that guy would really be hurting. He is hurting. I mean, it smashed broke his phone. It broke his glasses. It could have broke him. But he had a shield on that was going to deflect. And I'm not talking about these shields you get to use your weed eater outside or whatever. Think about what is saving and what is protecting. And I'm going to beat that drum forever because I believe if you go cheap, you'll get cheap. So, and you can get those on, of all places, Amazon. I have a couple in my shop. And when I was teaching wood turning in the shop, I would refuse to teach somebody if they didn't put a shield on. Oh, I don't need that. I'm wearing this and this and this. If you don't wear your shield, you can't turn. It's just, I don't want to stand there and watch you get your bell rung. I don't want to know that I was there when you got your eye put out or whatever.
Hey, Captain, it's pretty easy to figure out how much to spend on a shield. Just figure out how much your face is worth.
Oh man, that's 2 nickels and a dime. God. You're right.
let me throw something in there, and I don't remember his name, but this professional wood turner that turned bowls up in Maine, all cherry bowls, and he had one blow up on him and get hurt with it, and he switched to a catcher's mask.
I've seen that. I've seen
And
that.
and that was his way of of being heavily slammed with stuff. He switched to a catcher's mask for his primary defense.
I read that, and the best part of that is he wasn't turning on it. He was sanding, and he put the sandpaper down, left the lathe going, and the damn thing exploded while he wasn't even touching it.
Well, there's flaws in the center of those of that wood that you can't see, and you don't know where it's going to split at.
I think it broke his jaw. He was in bad shape.
Yep.
Keith Lorette, who is turning at the Florida Symposium this year, wears a catcher's mask all the time when he turns.
Well, I won't turn oak. I won't turn walnut. Right. Yeah, I gave up on walnut because I had my bell rung twice on the same log, and I know there's a flaw in the wood, but I don't want to take the chance again. So I said, okay, I'll pass on that. But protecting this is just not the face. Your eyes, your nose, your teeth, everything else is affected with it. And if you really take a bad hit, you may walk away from this hobby or this belief that you have. We don't want you to walk away. Take care and get there. Somebody, Donald, down in Australia, said he just got a Trend Issue Pro, and it is something I wish he wishes he bought it years ago. I had a Trend. I really liked it, Donald. It's really good. And that the Trend has got the input air to keep the dust out from underneath, and it'll actually cool your face in the summertime. It's comfortable. All right. What's up next? If you got something to show on gallery, jump in there. It's 15 minutes after the hour. This is as slow as we've been on gallery in weeks. So I know you have something in the shop to show and share with us. A tip, a trick, or whatever. It's that. I mean, we saw Matt just showed us how to sharpen that parting tool, the way you've got a 15-degree angle. I've got one sharpened like that. And I made mine out of a really cheeky Harbor Freight tool that I picked up when I bought a lathe a long time ago. Because what I use it for, I can hone it, sharpen it up just a second before I go there. So I've ground it, and now I wouldn't dare put it back on a grinder. I just hone it to a razor edge and go in and make that slice. And I hear it from members here and elsewhere that they wish they could get rid of their cheeky tools and step up to something better. That's a good idea, but don't throw away the cheeky tools. Don't. They're normally made out of fair grade tool steel. And if you're looking for a detail gouge, if you're looking to make a beading tool, a hook tool, if you want to do something to do a bead, you can cut all that out of those cheeky tools. You can. You're not using them to rough in a board or a log or whatever. And what you're doing is fine cutting on round wood. And most of the time you use them. I'm saying when I do those details, I'm doing most of it in a scraping from below up position rather than plowing, because I want to get the tip just to do some slicing before it comes in. The trick might not work for you.
I got to
Go
tell
ahead.
you, Eddie, I since I got that parting tool ground at that angle, I think I have only honed it. I don't think I've gone back on the grinding wheel with it either.
No use throwing your steel on the floor.
Yeah, and it was a $15 Benjamin Best tool, so I felt perfectly comfortable changing it however I wanted to. So, yeah, once I got it right, I haven't gone back on the grinder with it.
I had a whole shelf full of those tools. At one time I was very bad about buying estate sales on lathes and stuff, and I mean really bad. I had a problem. I went to therapy and got over it. Therapy was the wife telling me, don't bring home another one.
I was gonna ask you for
But-
that number, but
Yeah, just keep bringing stuff. I mean, don't want to brag, but I had the canopy outside the shop, and there might have been 5 lace under the canopy at one time. That's not what I did most of my turning on. And I'd find members of the club I belonged to that needed to either step up or their lathe had failed them or whatever. And I'd rework it, put bearings back in it, come in and haul it away. And yeah, those are the things you do for other wood turners. Don't try to make money off my friends, and try to make my friends. So we have a few folks with something to show. Now, Dean, you came up on that list as something to show tonight, do you?
I really don't, Captain. I've been kind of sidelined. The cardiologist says I got to take it easy for a week or two. So they're going to run some more tests on me and see how I'm really doing. But I hadn't spent much time in the shop in the last couple of weeks.
Well, listen to that guy. It's like the guy working on your car. You don't question what happens to the carburetor. You just get it fixed.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever he says, that's what we're doing.
All right. Well, we'll pop off of Dean and we'll go to Ray Davis. Ray, talk to us, sir. Ray can't call on you till you talk to me. Ray. He was just there a moment ago.
Yeah, I don't see him in the list anymore, Eddie.
Okay. I see him in a chat, but.
Eddie, this is
All right.
Tom. I have one other point on those Uvex face shields.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you go to the 3M website and read up on the face shield, they tell you that that is secondary protection only, that you should wear safety glasses. And I have these rec specs, impact rated glasses. They're bifocals, which I need. And I always wear these and then the face shield over it. And then the last couple of years, I finally bought one of those 3M pressurized, I forget, VersaFlow is the name of it. And that is way more substantial than the Uvex. But if I'm doing something quick and easy, I will throw the Uvex on, but always with the safety glasses. These also have a foam liner that kind of helps keep some of the sawdust out of your eyes. But that's coming from the Uvex manufacturer's website, is that secondary protection.
Thank you. And if folks say, well, I looked at buying safety glasses, but I need to wear regular glasses, I do too. I found that Sam's Club had really good quality safety glasses for less than $50 a pair. And they were to your prescription. I couldn't beat that. I bought a couple of pair at one time. And I bought a couple of pair because that's before I realized that if you take your safety glasses off and they're dirty and you pick up your shirt and clean them, guess what you just did? You just took all the fines on your shirt and ground them into your lenses. And when it starts looking foggy, you got to get new lenses. So that's when I found out about the son of a gun and started using it. First thing I do is dust it off, put the son of a gun on it, and then buff them, wipe them a little bit. And I'm amazed now I treat all my eyewear that same way. Instead of those little pads for cleaning them and never toilet paper and tissue paper, they're too coarse. But it helps save the glassware.
Well,
Trace?
let me add something on saving glassware. You need to wash it off before you wipe it, because you pick up sanding grit. When you're sanding, that grit comes off that sandpaper, or when you're grinding something, you get the metal filing shavings that float around in the air, they get on your glasses, and that will eat the hell out of your glasses. When you put that rag on it, you now have the abrasive from the sandpaper rubbing against your glasses. So the first thing you really need to do is rinse it off well and get that abrasive off of it, because it will eat them up.
It will. If you've ever we've all expanded. You wear glasses. You take them off, put your sunglasses on, you sit them on a console of your truck or your car, and if they bounce around a little bit, you need new glasses. And at the price of glasses nowadays, that's $300-400 for some folks. I go to Yenny or Zenny or one of those places with discount glasses online, and these cost $30. They're to my prescription. I think they charge me that to walk into the eye care place down the street. So if you've got a gallery at them, pop in. Go ahead, please.
I have found out that when you do your CA finish, and I use Starbond for my CA finish, and I had my plastic lens glasses on, that my glasses are no good anymore because they've got a film of CA glue that's not polished, of course, on the lenses, and I can't see through them anymore.
It happens. It does. But guess what? If you didn't have the glasses on, it'd be in your eyes.
Yeah, that's just from finishing an ink pen.
Sorry to laugh at you, but it's terrible. After it's done, you say, man, I could have beat that.
Mm-hmm. And we've all done it at some point.
Yeah. Jim, thank you. And Jim Selby handles our passing of our ink pens that you make for Freedom Pen. Jim handles the Navy. We have different members that handle different branches of the armed forces. And what we do is turn, you and I, we will go turn a Freedom Pen. And that's a regular pen, regular kit, no super design or anything else required. It's a gift from you to a serving serviceman. That's all it is. It's a gift from you, one of our citizens, to a serviceman who's serving for us. No restrictions, no deals, nothing. We want to give them a little something to show them that we're still behind them. And that's called the Freedom Pen. And our website's got all the contacts that you can send for all 6 services. Yeah, Army, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Navy, and Space Force. Yeah, 6. But
I actually do more than that, Eddie. I give them to the Marine Corps and the Coast Guard because I have contacts in both places.
Okay, good. Yeah, they're all troops serving us as volunteers. This is not the 60s and 70s where they got drafted. All these folks are giving up their, hate to say it's normal way of life and going to the military, but they're giving up a lot of stuff to go to the military. And I respect them all for it. I really do. I think everyone I see that's in uniform, I believe it's a great way to go. I'm not pro-war, anti-war, whatever. Nope. I know that our freedom has to be protected, and they're the folks in charge of protecting our freedom. So get on with Freedom Pens. We haven't seen Doug Rowe in tonight. Professor Rowe hadn't been around yet. Professor Rowe, he handles our Freedom Pens going to the Army. Ronnie Bonnet handles our Freedom Pens going to the Marine Corps because his grandson became a Marine. So we have Dave Rhodes has got stuff on the chat right now about where to send a Freedom Pen. So it's on our website if you want to see it. All right, we're all in here tonight. We're having a good time. We're chatting. I'm looking for gallery, and I know a guy that normally every single week comes in with something that just blows us away. Almost every week he does that. He's in Corpus Christi, Texas, and I'm going to put him on a spot. Joaquin, what do you have tonight, sir? Oh, I know he's there.
He just walked in, so.
Oh, it's not hooked up yet, not linked up. Okay. Joaquin is with us from Corpus Christi. Oh, we have a couple of members down that way and all belonging to that club. Oh, did I mention that if you see this meeting and you attend, you can also see the recap and the demonstrations on our website. David Rhodes, our webmaster, will put that up. He's going to put up the sheet from Matt Harber, the PDF, tomorrow, so you can get the PDF. And then the demonstration will be following right behind it, and you can see it. But all of our past demonstrations are there. And here's a brag. They're right there on the world's greatest wood turning website. Hey, I can say that because I believe in it. And we have a good webmaster send you photographs into Dave if you want to see them on our gallery on our website. And also send me the photograph, 2 different emails. Send me the photographs at worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. That's simple, worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. And I will use them for the promos. We put up a promo this week, and I think I have 18 photographs since I did that. So if I'm in here tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and put another one up. It's a fun thing to do. It's a chance for us, Worldwide Woodturners, to show your work, and there's no restrictions on that. When I do a promo, there's maybe 20 to 30 images permitted. I fill it up from what we currently get. I don't go back into the archives looking for stuff, because what am I going to pick? I'm not I can't be the curator. I can be the curator. I can't be the critic, and I wouldn't dare. That's why we have the no butt rule here at the club. I wouldn't dare make a critique on your work. You turned it. It was in your heart. You like it. You showed it. It's your work. I want to see it. All right. Anybody else got gallery tonight? Because boy, this is getting rough. Who's up?
Hey, Eddie, could I do a critique on my own work?
I think you should, or could. That came out wrong.
Yeah. I started to put some stuff away, but let me reorganize things here a little.
While he's setting up, while he is setting up there, see that camera mount he's got right there? Details on how to build that for your shop are on our website. Matt put that together a couple of years ago and showed us, and it's nifty. Okay, let's talk. What we have?
Okay, so these are the two of the finials that I showed you here. Okay, so this is the one I did in the demo tonight, and this is the one I did in the demo, I don't know, a week or two ago. So what do I like about this, and what do I not like about this? So I like this one better. I like the onion on this better. It's more slender. This is a little fat, but both of them work well. I also like having the little bead here between this onion and this feature. And I don't have that one on this that I did tonight, but I like this better. But I do like the undercutting I did on this one better. So I don't know, and I like the rounded edge on this one better than I like. This has got a little bit of a flat here. So anyway, that's my little critique.
I like the bottom one, the lower one we're looking at, because the shapes, but the burn line doesn't work for me. I can't say but. The burn line just doesn't work for me.
Well, it would work with the right piece if you did a burn line here and then did one here and here and up in here. If I had more burn lines and I had a piece that had a burn line around the lid, then it would work better.
Yes, it would. It's because they all have to connect.
Yeah, so it would have to be a specific piece, and I just did it in the demo to show that you could do it. Oh, all right, I can show that too. Where is that? What do I do with it? There it is. So for my burn line, I just use picture hanging wire, just basic picture hanging wire, nothing special. You could use guitar lines and so on. If you know somebody who has a guitar, plays a lot of guitar, they'll have old strings. Use a guitar string. Those are great. They're different sizes. So what I did is I turned these little handles out of shot pine 2x4, and I drilled a hole and tied them through the hole on each one. And so I put it around. Let's do this. So I put it around, crank the lathe up, and burn. Now I hold these loosely, even though I'm putting pressure on to get the wires to burn. If the lathe takes the wire in the handles, let the lathe have the wire in the handles. It's not worth losing fingers over it. And that's why you make handles, because that wire will strip your fingers to the bone if you're not careful. So use handles if you're using burning wire like this.
Good. All right. Great idea. Great. Thank you, Matt.
They
Another one of
call
those tips.
glove
Say
action.
again. We're losing a comment.
Joaquin is here,
we-
and he has Joaquin is here, and he has something to show.
Talk to us,
Yes, he
Joaquin.
does. Got him.
He's in front and center, Joaquin.
Okay, mostly I had to catch up on some pen making earlier, but my neighbor lady, she had some trees trimmed, and they were some live oak. And I've been making Christmas trees, getting ready for Christmas season in the gallery. So I thought, well, how about a tree with a trunk? And this has got a little bark on it, live oak.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to. I thought, well, she needs more than one, so I made a second a little bigger. I'm going to. I think I'm going to put one in between so she can have a little forest out of these live oak. But I kind of like that with the trunk, and I thought, I got some Texas ebony out there. I wonder what it would look like with a trunk. I'm not happy with this trunk too much.
That's pretty though. That's got a lot of potential, Joaquin.
Yes, with the sapwood white, maybe like snow. But,
yeah, those are great. Those are great. She'll be delighted with them, I think.
And this is one I left the part of the trunk on. I think it come out a lot better, more proportional. So I thought, well, heck, that looks good. What's a Christmas tree going to look like out of it? So this is the Christmas tree that I did out of the Texas ebony.
Nice.
Nice. It's time to get ready for Christmas. Get inventory up for the galleries and move on. And mostly what I've done this week.
Good. All looks good, sir.
The Christmas trees and snowmen are rolling up here too. So yeah, it's time.
Yeah, the gallery, they got one big metal tree. It's about 6 foot out there, and there's you just go hang your ornaments on it, and people can walk in and pick out whatever they want. It's going to be a good Christmas out there this year, I think.
Good.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Dean-
Who else saw
Dean
something?
said,
Dean Grimes.
Yeah, I went ahead and went and found some things that I had turned a while back, thought I'd share with them since it is getting close to Christmas time. And while we're on the subject of trees, little tree with a box underneath it.
Yeah.
So got a couple of those, and you can basically it's all one piece of wood.
Heavy.
And you just make your box, and on your lid you just make the tree. And the way I form this tree as it's in here, you just take your skew and you run it in and you feather back that edge, and that'll give you your that effect.
That's a good effect. That is.
So I've done those several years to put in the craft shows. And people go crazy about them. So thought I'd share that with you guys.
Okay,
How do you finish how do you finish those trees? Do you I mean, when you feather them, that you get fuzzies and you don't want it falling off. So how do you finish them?
Well, you will get fuzzies, but they're fairly stable. You can knock them off. As a matter of fact, I think I did knock a little piece off of this one, probably why I've still got it. But then I just take acrylic paint and just start dabbing it on there.
Yeah.
And of course, with that wood fuzzed up like that, it absorbs right into the wood. And then like on this one, I'll sometimes go in and put a little white on the tips, give it a little effect of snow. And people tend to really like that as well.
Does
Thanks,
make
Dean.
some
Great.
unique turnings.
Yeah, great ideas. Thanks, Dean.
You guys are welcome. Thank you for.
Very good.
Joaquin, I have a little information to share with you, Joaquin.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy Lee says he's available to be adopted. If you're looking to adopt somebody, Jimmy will be right there for you,
Yeah,
right there.
that is funny.
And he'll probably cut your grass too. You know,
Oh,
that's,
now that might be a deal. How about just clean the shop, huh?
Yeah,
there
I
you
need
go.
to, it sounds like I need to make a trip to Corpus because there's certain things there I might not mind cleaning up for you.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Just close your eyes and go to the other room. Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah. I hear you. Thank you.
You would be cleaning for quite a while.
Yeah. Hey, Glenn, he's tattletelling on me.
Is he?
Yeah.
I got to tell you,
Table's
one
got
of the
something on it.
one of the things that Joaquin's doing, if you notice that he's using branches that are not very big to make those trees with, a lot of that stuff, a lot of people don't think about wood turning. There's a lot of things like what Joaquin did that you can do with branches, especially ones with the natural edges on them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people throw that stuff away, you know. So
Yeah.
you can make trees out of them with natural bark
And
edges.
then the more you do an offset on it, you get more bark on it, gets to leave more bark on it. You know, it depends on the state of whether it's still green or it's dried out, whether the bark stays on, but they really do look good.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine told me one time, he says, I do mostly scroll work because I just can't afford the wood for wood turning. And I looked out and he had a brush pile in front of his house, probably 6 foot tall. I said, man, you got enough out there in that next to the road to keep you busy for 2 years.
Absolutely. We hardly go anywhere without a chainsaw in the back of the truck, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Mine's permanently in the back of my vehicle too. Who buys wood anyway?
Exactly.
You know, we have big areas of brush pickup. Well, we find out where that area is going to be and we drive through it and see what people cut off.
I
here's
also
one
like
way.
two of my local tree guys. One of them has a wood lot that's like about 3 acres big, and anytime he cuts big pieces, he just throws them in there. And he's let me go through there a couple times, and it's just like, you know, if I need wood, I know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like a kid in a candy store there, huh?
Yeah. Cherry, maple, cedar.
We have local compost sites where I live, one on each side of our river, and the tree services dump all their trees there, so it's free for the taking.
Wow.
Wow.
I haven't bought any bowl blanks for years.
Yeah, you don't need to, do you?
No, you just go to the city, you get a free wood cutting permit, and you can cut as much as you want.
They won't allow us to do that here. We can't take none of that out of the dump for whatever reason. It's very aggravating. I go out there and dump off some stuff and there's this beautiful wood just sitting there and they won't let you take it.
Yeah. It's got something to do with liability, guarantee you.
Yeah. Somebody got sued. You can bet on that.
Yeah, maybe your mistake was in asking.
Oh, wait. No. Don't go there. No.
That's what the permit is that we get here. It's a waiver of liability against the city. So if you cut yourself on city property, it's your fault.
I'm going to hit them up about that, Scott. They may have something like that.
Yeah, it's really nice. May
They
have to
cut a-
hand over some precedents.
Yeah. I saw guys cutting a tree across the street at Hackberry yesterday. And they because you don't drop big branches. Not if you're a good tree cutter, you take chunks because somebody's got to pick them up. And they had branches 6 inches diameter, maybe a foot and a half long. Hackberry, beautiful hackberry.
Mm-hmm.
The tree was dying, so it had some. It's had like a spalting or a dying in it. Looked really good. I called one guy that lives near here, and before he got over here, it was gone. You know, but make friends with your tree cutter, just like Joaquin said. Those folks have a stash someplace. They may break it up.
Well, to tell a story about a friend with a tree cutter, a guy called me up. He had a Texas ebony cut down, and the tree cutter went over. I didn't know it was cherry. and went over there and he told him that a wood turner was going to take the tree when he cut it. He said, well, I need to call Joaquin and have him to come over here and tell me where to cut it. Well, that's who's picking it up is Joaquin. And so Jared called me up and said, I need you to come over and mark this Texas ebony. I know that I will ruin it if I cut it down. And I went over with orange paint, and, you know, on the branches, they'll always cut them too short on a crotch. And so I marked it about 8 inches, 12 inches out from each end of the crotch. And he cut everything where I wanted it cut and went and picked it up.
Nice.
Yeah. Break friends with you with the tree cutter. I see somebody in gallery right here. And there he is. Go ahead, sir. Knapp.
Mr. Cap, that's you. Ah,
Got around to turning some gnomes for the kids that are going to a craft show.
Neat.
Nice.
Yeah, really pretty. I like the bright colors on the caps.
That's all I have.
All right.
Very
Really
nice.
nice work. All right.
Thank
it's
you.
nice. It's fun to see these because everybody does everything a little different. And it's fun to see all the different hats and stuff. It's cool.
There's no rules or guidelines. It's up to you to use your art to do what you think somebody would like.
Exactly.
And I tell you, if you make a gnome this weekend and you take it to your Thanksgiving lunch or dinner and put it on the table, it will be the high point. It'll overrule the turkey because people are just amazed at how cute that is, how nice it is, how simple it is. And it's something, I'm just throwing it out there. It's something to do. I used to do one little turned item and bring it to anytime I went to dinner someplace with somebody, I'd leave it behind. And I, for the life of me right now, I can't remember what those items were, but I was very good and quick at it. And it was using up shelf stock. That's the stuff I stuck on a shelf. And somebody said something about cutting branches. I had an Asian jasmine vine in my big oak tree out front. It's a massive oak tree. And I put those Asian jasmine around it about 30 years ago. And after Hurricane Ida, we had a cleanup crew come in, and my wife asked them to take a branch off the tree. That drove her crazy. I liked it. But for some reason, they went over to the base of the oak and trimmed the Asian jasmine all the way around. It just broke my heart when I saw it. But then the branches for the Asian jasmine came down. They were 2 inches or more in diameter. And I have some pieces out there 8-10 feet long. And it's Asian jasmine. That's like palm. You don't hear people going looking for that type of wood. I was going to turn it when it was wet. And one day when I get back to turning again, I'm going to give it a shot. But you have so much turning wood available for you or to you. I'm going to go on with Matt. Who buys wood? Really, we lost our good wood distributors up down here in Louisiana. One reason or another, they're gone or don't stock exotics and nice wood. And you want to buy a bull blank? You can't get a bull blank. I'll show you. Somebody gave me this as a bull blank. This is 2 by 6 by 6. That's a bull blank, and it's soft wood. And they only gave it to me because they drilled it wrong. It's a little bit too deep, so I'm going to have to mount it on a glue block in order to turn it. But that's, in their mind, that's a glue blank, a bowl blank. So you have things available for you. I watched a guy at the hardware store pick up a block of lumber off the firewood pile, and he's made ink pens. He's doing Freedom pens. He's got 6 or 8 done right now, and he's using that piece of wood. Nifty. And they gave it to him. Billy Dillett's going to have us all put the shame on turning pens. He's got 600 to do.
Wow.
Yeah. He's got it down to a science of how many he can turn a week or such. Or he just said that it's a 12-minute pen. He can turn a 12-minute pen.
Wow. Now,
he's turning one-piece pen bodies. They're 3 inches long. Penn State Industries has a handful of them like that. I would prefer that pen body all day long over a trim line or a slim line or 2-part pens. They gives you a chance to show off the wood you're working with. And I catch some heck for this sometimes. I can do a pen from start to finish with a roughing gouge. I learned how it cut, and I learned how it cut using it on pens, because I would rough them down and then change off and get to another tool or a skew or whatever. And turning one day, I just said, you know what? If I kick this up on a little bit and rode the bevel on it, and that was it. I never went back to another tool. It's roughing gouge is a bad name for the tool because it's not a roughing tool. It's a cutting tool. If you use it properly, it's awesome, but don't use it on the bowl. Way too much edge on a bowl. Personal opinion. But we just saw that stave piece blow up on a fellow a few minutes ago. Jim showed us that video. When they go, and there's no blink. There's no, oh, I'll stop and that won't happen again. When it happens, it'll ring your bell. And I don't need my bell rung right now.
I don't know
Jim,
too many of us that do.
No, exactly, Doug.
Yeah, but the taking precautions, a lot of times is fairly simple. And learning the precautions and putting them to use is even simpler. I mean, think about the damage to be done. I can't find the video the guy mounted on YouTube a couple of years ago where he was videotaping from across the room and he was roughing in a piece and he had a catch. It got loose. It took out the working light above him. It took out his dust collection system and went into the wall. And he said, "You want to see that again?" I didn't want to see it the first time. Yeah. And I don't think he had a face shield on. I really don't. But and I don't want to be a nut about it, but I'm the poster boy at the local hospital. Really, I'm there way too much, and I'm not caving into that. I don't need to go back there for it. Hell, for the whole month of August, I couldn't walk. I'd fall down left and right. So, but hey, I bounce. Okay. All right. Early this evening, Billy was telling us about using something from X-Tool, a sheet that has tape on it. So I played with it a little bit. This is a laser project. That is a piece that I did without the tape on it. I did this while we're in the program tonight. And this is a piece I did with the tape on it.
Is that basic masking tape?
Yes. Well, I use that blue stuff. I wouldn't, just because I don't have basic masking tape here, but I'll have it tomorrow. I'm going to go to the store and get some.
Okay, that's great. None of the burnout, the burnover or whatever you call that stuff.
No, the overburn. I have pieces here that I'll be standing on for a week. Some boxes, like a card box or a coaster box or whatever, because of the overburn. And I've watched a bunch of videos on that, and it's just like elbows. Everybody's got, two, and they're different. The opinions on how to stop the overburn, how to burn, etc. It varies from user to user, machine to machine, prop, plywood, wood, and all that. I have a whole stack of these 1/8 inch thick hardwood sheets, birch sheets, that I bought from Amazon because I didn't read that they weren't plywood. You're flipping through the pages on Amazon and, oh, that looks good. Boom, and you get it. Cutting that is not fun. In fact, I had to get out the fire extinguisher. Jimmy Lee says he brought home some dogwood from Hurricane Ida. That's a good source. Watch for wind shakes. If you're going to pick up storm damaged wood, watch for wind shakes. I don't know how to briefly describe it, but if it,
Yeah, ring shake happens when a tree twists as it falls, and what you get is you get breaks where the rings are, and you can't really see the cracks, but when you're turning them, all of a sudden the piece will come apart massively because it's already broken inside because of the way it fell. Yeah, it twists when it's falling.
Well, one other thing, when you cut it, if you'll pay real close attention to the end grain, sometimes you can see if there's a odd looking ring, you know to be careful and watch for that.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. If you see the break, usually it's just the thinnest crack along the ring. I was looking around here to see if I've got anything that's got it, but I don't. Yeah, maybe here. So like, you can see the rings on this piece. If you see a little crack along the ring line, then that's ring shake.
Yes.
And that's a good indication that it had that twist and when it fell, and it's probably much worse, you can't see it. I had a piece explode on me like that from ring shake. Box elder it was. We were cutting it at a wood guy's tree lot, a guy who trims trees, and I got some really great, very beautiful, colorful pieces, but then I got one that near the bottom of the tree that had ring shake in it, box elder. But
it's a pretty piece of wood.
Yeah, it is. It's snowman body. But yeah, and I didn't see the ring shake until after I started turning, and all of a sudden I've got these big shards coming off. As you know, thankfully I was had my shield on, and I was out of the line of fire because it came off, like a whole bunch of it came off in all sorts of directions. So yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah, be careful with that, guys.
Yeah, be careful when you're cutting it into boards on a bandsaw too. If you're cutting the pith out, if you got ring, it'll explode off the bandsaw too. I've had it fly across the shop. I used to saw lumber on a sawmill, and I've watched boards jump right off the sawmill and fall on the ground.
They're loaded with stress. You relieve that stress, things are going to happen. And you know, when we started this operation by fluke, one of our founders, Ronnie Bonnet, came on one week and showed us some stuff he turned out of 2x4. And for about a year, we had a lot of fun with that. We had people turning all kinds of stuff out of 2x4. And why would that be fun? It's hard to turn. Okay, most of it's pines, SYP or whatever, and it doesn't lend itself to being sliced very well. Well, that's the good part. The good part, because you will learn how to use your tools better, slicing and cutting and gouging, if the wood really is not dense enough to forgive your mistakes.
Yeah, and when you hit that sweet spot, it's really pretty. I got this guy here has got the little bit on the top there is shot pine, is 2x4, and so is his nose. So I got 2 bits on this. There's 4 pieces of wood in this, and 2 of them are 2x4.
Yeah, and it works. It's turnable wood. It is. Remind you folks that we spoke earlier this evening. We're going to do our first challenge, first full-blown challenge, and that's going to be birdhouses. We want to see your birdhouses the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. That is November 23rd, I believe. On my clock it is. And if you turn a birdhouse, we want to see it. Have some fun. It's good turning. It's easy turning. It lets you learn your tools. You saw what Matt did tonight with that parting tool that he angled off, and the grind he put on his fingernail gouge, or I'm calling it fingernail gouge. The grind he put on it, because it allows them to make little sweeping cuts down to real fine cavities. Then gives them awesome cloves, awesome beads. You can ride. Somebody said, "Can you ride that bevel?" Boy, can you! You can, once you learn how to tool cuts. If you build a tool like that, chuck up something you don't like and turn it until you get used to it. I hate to see folks what they say, I blew up a really good bow blank doing such and such. Most of the time it's because I blew up a bow blank because I cut it wrong. So practice a little bit. All right. I got to tell you now that we've had a good evening. We've been a little bit busy. Had a great demonstration by Matt Harber out of the Detroit area. We've talked to a lot of our members. We want to wish Dean Grimes good luck on a little problem he's having with his carburetor. Dean, we're all thinking about you, sir, and waiting to hear back from you. All right. And if you folks want to add anything else to our program, our meetings on Wednesday nights, all you have to do is let us know. Our email address is worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. And our website, I'm sorry, I said that wrong twice. It's worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. I had it right, brain fart. And our website is worldwidewoodturners.org. We're not a .com on the internet, or .org. And that's where you'll find the finest website in the entire world. With that, folks, I'm going to pull the plug on it, and we will see you again next Wednesday night. Please invite one of your friends or more of your friends. Invite your club. We're wide open for people to be part of this operation, and we'd like to see what they have. On behalf of them, good night, folks. Say your good nights.
Good night.
Good night, all. Don't forget to save the chat.
Save the chat.
Night, all.
Good
Thank
job.
you so much.
Thanks, Eddie. Good meeting.
John boy.
Good night, everybody. Have a great
Thanks,
week. Be
Matt.
safe.
Have a good.